Good evening, time of day, time of place. Hello. Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing fantastic today. My name's Roy. I'll be your Bunny Barista VTuber for today. So, hi. Hi, Natalie. I hope you're doing fantastic. Glad to have you here. I appreciate you showing up early. Hi, hi. Hi, hi. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. I do appreciate the fact that YouTube lets you make a waiting room beforehand. So, like, I can announce the stream and say, like, hey, like, we're gonna be going forward with the stream in, like, a couple minutes. Like, come in here, come hang out, come wait, because we're gonna have a fun time. I have the tier list pretty much all ready to go, and it looks like it's in order. The only thing that's missing is Alien Rangers, which I think is fine. We don't have to worry about Alien Rangers. But, yeah. Hi, Funny Rabbit Boy. What's up, Jaden? What's going on? I hope you're doing fantastic today. Thanks for being here. Guys, this is my last YouTube stream of the year, second to last stream of the year in general. I'm very excited to be sharing with you one of my big passions, which is Power Rangers. You know, I've talked about Power Rangers many a times before, and I'm just kind of excited to sit here and be able to kind of, I don't know, go over them again. It's okay, Alien Rangers is on its own tier, way above all the others anyway. True. True. Actual factual. You're correct, Repro. You're absolutely correct. What's going on? Good evening. Good evening to you. But yes, as I was saying, we're going to be doing a Power Rangers series tier list once again. Hello, Juzo. Hi. Mwah. Actually, I haven't watched Power Rangers in a long time, so maybe I'll learn something. Yes, of course. And if you are interested in learning anything, or if you have any questions pertaining to the franchise series that I'm talking about, anything like that, please ask. No stupid questions when it comes to Power Rangers or my love of the franchise. However, since we're speaking from the heart, I gotta free the heart up. Let me get just. That didn't work. Hold on. Let's give it one more time. There we go. Gotta free it. Gotta free the heart. You know, absolutely free the heart. And I got me some hot cocoa. So, like I said, today's stream is going to be entirely talking about the Power Rangers franchise as it is coming on the end of 2022. It is 12/29. The date, of course. It is 12/29. We're going to be talking about how 2022 was as a year for Power Rangers. We're going to be doing another series tier list, things of that nature. And I'm very excited to be giving my input, my insight, and things of that nature on Power Rangers once again. I feel like it's important for me to have a video of the tier list up. That way people can see and understand exactly what it is that I am interested in looking at, loving, you know. Let's do this. Damn right, Claude. I've seen this most of the season, but haven't seen the Hasbro seasons. Okay, well, we get to talk about the Hasbro seasons a little bit later on into the tier list then. Funny was watch videos missed on Sixth Ranger. I didn't know the fan show film. Oh, Power Rangers Unworthy. I do know of it. The suits are super cool. The suits are super freaking cool. I have not watched it myself, but I think the suits look amazing. And the cinematography looks really good too, especially for a fan project. I hope at some point I hope 2023 is a big time for Power Rangers. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening, and I'm excited where the franchise is going to go. You watch some of Unworthy, it's nice. Hell yeah. I'm glad to hear it. All right, let me transition over. Now, do you guys want to keep it with my jazz that we normally have, like this type of music, or do we want to transition into maybe something a little bit more fast-paced since it's Power Rangers related? I'm down for whatever. I'm down for my usual jazz. The theme song was an interesting take on the original. Nice. So long as it's actually an interesting take. All right, let's go ahead and shift over here and skadoosh. And I think I can full screen this. Oh, not F12, F11. There we go. And bam! There we go. Nailed it. Easy peasy. RPM theme. I don't love the RPM theme. It's a little too repetitive for me. I like the jazz. High octane might make it tiring over time. For sure. I understand. Sometimes it's just nice to have a little bit of a background noise and things of that. Things like that. I'm gonna take another sip of my hot cocoa while it's still hot. I do love me some hot cocoa. But yes, so as you can see, we've got every season listed here. We've got all 3 seasons of MMPR. We got Zeo. You know, we've got all the way up to Dino Fury season 1 and 2, which is fantastic because the last time that I did a tier list, I unfortunately did not have the opportunity to finish Dino Fury season 2. I have now finished Dino Fury season 2. I thought it was better than the first. I thought it was a pretty good step above the first. Same with Beast Morphers season 2, which is a good thing. You know, it feels like they found their footing, especially for Dino Fury, more so into the later half of season 2 when it was on Netflix, and then we had to wait for the second half to drop. Has me excited for Cosmic Fury. I think it's gonna be great. What's up, Showtime? What's up, Q? Hope we're doing fantastic. Thanks for being here. But as all good things start, I'm gonna do a little bit of an intro. That way, maybe people that aren't overly familiar with this or me, if they're watching later, they can get a better idea. Whenever the Rangers go to space, it's a good time. Yeah, what was it? In space and Lost Galaxy are the only times we've been in space ever, right? I guess technically Wild Force because they go to the moon. I think that's it. Oh, I guess technically Ninja Steel. SPD is kind of space. There's like kind of ones, but there's ones that are just in space, you know, like in space. Perfect. All right, real quick. Welcome in, everybody. My name's Roy. I'll be your Bunny Barista VTuber for today. Today we're going to be going over a Power Rangers tier list. Now I know I may have done one of these before, but I forgot to save it as a video. So more importantly, I have finally finished every single season of Power Rangers, more specifically Dino Fury Season 2, so I can accurately discuss and opinionate myself in regards to the Power Rangers franchise, talk about what my favorites, my least favorites are, and give you the most accurate opinion you'll ever find this side of the internet. So if you're interested in checking out my opinions on Power Rangers, stick around. Let's have some fun, and remember, I'm always right. There we go. Perfect, easy peasy. Yay for Power Rangers, let's go. Haven't read all the Power Rangers comics that filled in questionable plot holes during Fox Kids Zordon era. Any of that, you have a problem. I haven't read the comics myself. I do know a lot pertaining to the comics in terms of spoilers and plot lines, but I had a huge chunk of the spoilers spoiled for me, or I'm sorry, stolen from me when I went to the Overwatch League Grand Finals back in 2017. So since then, I just haven't been collecting them as much. I had a bunch of them on my throne, and some of them were purchased, and then I felt kind of guilty for keeping them on my throne. So I took them down. I might add them back up just so people have, you know, something that they know that I'm really interested in and that I can, you know, work towards and explain and share my passions about. So I highly recommend reading them. I have a couple of them. Some of them are just really hard to find, but I'll add more of them back onto my throne probably after this stream. I'll do that tonight. Make sure everybody has a chance to see the types of things that I'm interested in. Now, with that being said, I think before we go into A, B, C, D, E, and F, I feel like E tier is almost not worth it. How many did I have before? I'm actually curious because I don't remember. All right, so this is how many I had before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can get rid of NA, so we just need 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, cool. Awesome. Omega Blue is a cute. True. So we'll go A for amazing. B will say great. C will be good. D will be okay. E will be meh. And F will be bad. Objectively bad. I feel like these are probably the most simple ways to handle it, just because if we start getting into like perfect or like failure, it doesn't really make much sense, especially when it comes to Power Rangers. There's almost always a redeeming feature of each season, even the ones that aren't super good. Just like this hot cocoa. Perfect. I'm gonna turn down the music very slightly. There we go. Okay, so obviously first off, we're gonna start with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1. As we rank these, they're going to go into the slot that I think they fit the best in, and then as we add in more seasons, I will readjust them or just readjust all at the end. That way we can have an articulated list of how things go, like from left to right with each season. So without spoilers, only problem I have, Zordon involves past and conclusions during In Space. Yeah, I've heard a little bit about it. All right, Mighty Morphin Season 1. I think it's okay. I think it is okay. I've talked about this probably ad nauseum. I think Mighty Morphin Power Rangers as a starting season, it does things very well. I very much enjoy looking back at Mighty Morphin Season 1, but as you get into the later episodes, probably in the area of like the 30+ range of episode numbers, it starts to kind of fall apart a little bit. The loop ends up being not as fun. There's a lot of emphasis on Tommy saving the day, also Tommy being terrible, things of that nature, constantly forgetting his morpher, his communicator, getting kidnapped by putties. It happens too much. Hey, Kimberly, welcome in. Season 1 got spoiled for me, and I got upset. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, we're going to be talking about everything here, so if you're looking for not spoilers, wrong place. I like the Nick Lambo Udana thing, but it overshadows basically the rest of the characters and their plots in Yeesh. Yes, we'll be talking about that with Mystic Force and things of that nature, and trying to make sure to really dive down into why I don't like Mystic Force as much as I think other people do. I don't think Mystic Force is bad, and I don't think it's meh, but we'll get there. But yes, Mighty Morphin Season 1. The bad is just the pacing for the show feels really off. There's not a lot of plot-related episodes aside from anything that involves Tommy. The real big issues with the show are they didn't know what to do, and they were feeling it out. I personally think that's okay. I'm tempted to put this at the end of good tier, but I'm just gonna say okay. I think Mighty Morphin Season 1 was a great outing for the first time, for the first franchise. You give it a lot of passing notes, you know? You make sure that it is, you know, it was the first time. You gotta give it a pass on a lot of stuff. They made a lot of mistakes, they improved on a lot of things, they got worse with a lot of things. I think one of the biggest problems was the usage of Tommy and the Green Ranger. Just a lot of stuff of like, oh, Tommy can't be in this fight. I wonder why. Took off his communicator, lost his morpher, got kidnapped by putties, stuff like that. One of the biggest things I look for in each season is how they compare as a team unit to Jason, Billy, Zach, Trini, Kimberly, Tommy as a cohesive group, and how they interact outside of the fights. Oh, true. That's a good point. We can talk about that too. The group dynamic here I think is fantastic. I think you really do feel like these characters are friends and not just thrown together awkwardly. Again, it was the 90s. There's some really awkward interactions of, hey, come help us clean up XYZ facet, and I have to teach karate class even though I'm like 15 or 14 because they're teenagers in high school. You know, there's definitely there's some weird bits, but I will say genuinely towards the end of the first season, it did feel like the characters were friends. It felt like they were a cohesive group. I liked the teamship and the camaraderie between them, especially on the episodes where it felt needed, where that interpersonal relationship really came into play. And yeah, I thought it was really good. How they did that. But again, season 1 stumbles a lot, makes a lot of good strides. Solid, okay. If I had to give that a number grade, I'd say like a 6 out of 10. Be interested to hear about your favorite episode for each season. We can do that too. Good point. I think season 1, I think it's a clear cut. Green with Evil is the best part of season 1 entirely. I don't think there's any debate whatsoever. I think season 1, Green with Evil, the 5-parter where they introduce the Green Ranger, is the best of season 1. I don't think there's really any other piece that even remotely comes close to it, except maybe like Green No More, which I think is Green No More in season 2. It's where Tommy loses his powers for the first time. I know it's the green candle, like that arc. That would be the other part. It might, Green No More might be season 2. You know? Roy, guess what? What's up? Hit me. I'm waiting. I'm listening. I'm fine. Ooh, excuse me. I like almost choked there on air. Ooh. My goodness gracious. I'm waiting now. But yes, okay for season 1 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I'm gonna wait for this guess what, and then I will continue on to season 2. This better be good. Raiden, I swear to goosh. You just got 3 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like action figures? Dope! Congrats! I hope you enjoyed them. Which colors did you get? My favorite one's black from Mighty Morphin. Games? Ooh, fancy. All right, let's continue. Then we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2 is a meh season. It's definitely a season that has some issues. The biggest issues with Season 2 being that they struggle a lot with stock footage because, as we all know, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1, the Super Sentai stock footage they used was from Kyoryu Sentai Zhu Ranger, and each Super Sentai season they swapped suits, mechas, actors, storylines, everything like that. Saban, being new to Power Rangers, did not want to swap casts or suits or most of what anything did, you know? And because of that, they kept trying to prolong the Mighty Morphin suits the Mighty Morphin monsters, the Mighty Morphin everything. They kept using the Zyuranger suits despite not having the footage for it. That's why Mighty Morphin Season 1 is like 60-something episodes long. They actually paid Toei Japan to film more footage that they could then use, which is cool. That's commonly referred to as Zyu 2, because it's footage that doesn't exist in Zyurangers, you know? But Season 2 of Mighty Morphin struggles a lot because they did not have the stock footage to match up what they needed with the Zyu suits, you know? They were supposed to be using the Die Ranger suits. I have to rewatch all of Power Rangers shows. Check on YouTube. Power Rangers official YouTube channel has up through Operation Overdrive, and I think they were working on Jungle Fury after that. So if you check, they might already be working on Jungle Fury, but I know they are finished uploading for free up through Operation Overdrive, which is 15 seasons. That's a lot. So there's lots to watch on the official YouTube channel for free. But yeah, Season 2 struggled a lot with the transition. The other transitions that they struggled with is we obviously had to remove the Green Ranger because there's no dragon-based Green Ranger in Die Ranger, so the Dragon Zord didn't fit in at all, and the main core Rangers had already upgraded into the Thunder Zords, you know? All right, Raiden, chill out. I get it. I see you. Don't worry. That's dope, man. Just chillax with the caps lock, okay? Time to get no sleep and watch. So there you go. There you go. But Mighty Morphin Season 2 struggled a lot with that because Tommy transitioned from the Green Ranger into the White Ranger. That was handled well. I think White Light is a fantastic part of Season 2. I think Lord Zed's introduction as a villain in those first like 10 or so episodes are pretty fun because Zed is a terrifying villain comparatively to Rita. He's significantly more serious. His monsters are more terrifying. The Thunder Zords are dope. It's fun to mess with those. Then we get into the stuff with the White Ranger. We get the Tiger Zord and the transition from green to white, and it's good, but it also gets awkward because seeing Tommy act like a child is very weird because Die Ranger's White Ranger was a child. They were like 9 or 10 years old or something, you know? I saw it, Raiden, don't worry. I check Power Rangers and I have up to Ninja Storm. Nice! I think I'm missing a few seasons myself. He's small. He is. He has to like grow into the suit like they do in Power Rangers Turbo. It's actually really funny that they ended up doing that too. But yeah, Season 2 struggles a lot. And the biggest struggle that Season 2 had was the transition of the other 3 Rangers. Obviously, we lost Jason, Zach, and Trini, and were replaced by Rocky, Adam, and Aisha for red, black, and yellow respectively. That was probably the biggest struggle for the show, and you start to see that transition in like the mid-20s where the Rangers had already kind of exited the show and filmed their live action scenes, but hadn't recorded their lines for like the under the suit moments. So there's a lot of really, really, really awkward moments where it's very obvious that it's not them, you know? Really obvious that it's not them. And it's a shame because I feel like I wish they would have handled it more amicably. What I've heard from behind the scenes was the original 3, Jason, Zach, and Trini. That would be Austin St. John, Walter Jones, and Tui Trang left the show after pay disputes. There's some rumors about more going on besides that, but pay disputes is usually what I hear as the reasoning for them leaving the show. And it made it really awkward for them to transition and to remove them and to go into other places, especially because they were starting to talk about filming a movie, which is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 1995 movie. But when we got, God, what's his name? Steve Cardenas, Johnny Young Bosch, and Karen Ashley coming in as Rocky, Adam, and Aisha, I think it was a game changer. I think the season improved because we didn't see the really bad voice acting jobs for Jason, Zach, and Trini. I think it was better, but it still had the same exact issues with the first half of the show, you know? One of them did an interview on how they would have made more money for the amount of hours they were putting in by working fast food. Yeah, like that's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing. They talked about pay disputes, but like I think it was, I don't know, it was just crazy at the time. You know, they were definitely not making enough money, especially with how big Power Rangers was. What's interesting behind the scenes, Japan who sent the actual White Ranger prop to America to show. Yeah, I did see that. So they actually sent over Saba the sword for reference. That way they can make a smaller Saba for Tommy to actually use while, you know, in more fight scenes. To be honest, I like the second cast more. I am biased towards the second cast because whenever I experience the show, and for the majority of Mighty Morphin, it's them. Because that second group is who we have for the movie, it's who we have for half of season 2 and for all of season 3. So it's definitely, I grew fond of them. I was with them for longer than I was with the original cast. It's almost like how in Kamen Rider Ichigo, you like, what's his name? Hongo Takashi. But Hayato Ichimonji ends up growing on you a lot because he's with you for longer than Hongo is, you know? So are the Alien Rangers part of Mighty Morphin or Zeo? I haven't watched them in a while, so I'm not sure. I'm going to consider it part of MMPR Season 3, but it's not going to be too much of a detriment. Obviously, it's just going to be a downvote because of Alien Rangers. But yeah, I consider it part of Season 3 because it helps transition into Zeo. Because the Zeo powers didn't exist until after Alien Rangers. I don't remember anything from when I watched Power Rangers because I last watched Power Rangers was about 5 years ago. Hey, now's a good time to catch up. We're about to get into the 30th anniversary, you know? I like how they added Jason, Zax, and Trini's story by using the Omega Ranger storyline. I like that too, but that's comics, and we can't talk about that too much because that wasn't planned out back in season 2. Obviously, the characters, it was a better send-off for them that they went off to do a secret mission, but for the TV show watchers at the time in 1994, which is when season 2 aired, we had to deal with, oh, they left to a peace conference. Like, what the hell does that even mean? So for that, and the power transfer being awkward, and the stock footage events, and the American footage being really, really, really awkward, season 2 is a meh. However, this is where things get good. We have Mighty Morphin Season 3. I've talked about this a lot. I think Mighty Morphin Season 3 does not get enough praise for how consistently good it is. We finally have a full season with the new cast, so we don't have any of that awkward voiceover stuff that doesn't fit. We get the Thunder Zords being destroyed, which means we lead into getting the ninja powers, which was a great kind of intro to the season. Because I think the first thing that we had was the crossover with Masked Rider, which was a 2 or a 3-parter, which was kind of awkward because like Masked Rider wasn't that good, but it did set up for Masked Rider at least. Yeah, fully original suit acting in Angel Grove locations as well. That's a big plus for season 3 of MMPR. Was they finally had enough money and enough pull and enough, I guess, what's their phrase? Equipment, like to create their own sets and do them consistently and do them well. You see a lot better fight scenes, a lot better looking suits, a lot better acting. I think the acting got a lot better that season. Because season 2 was still a little shaky. You know, we had our new Rangers coming in and it was shaky at the beginning. But season 3, I think everyone popped off really well. I really like the Ninja Zords and the transition into the Shogun Zords. I think it was fantastic. I think the whole plot line between Kim losing her powers and then accepting Kat as the replacement because she was under Rita's spell, and the whole like, oh, you were controlled by Rita. Like, we understand how that is because Tommy felt that. Also ironic because Tommy ends up falling in love with her, you know? Hey, take care, Trinity. Thank you for hanging out with us. I think the Ninja Rangers had more Zords than the Dinosaur and Thunder Zords together. So there were 7 Dino Zords, and there were 7 Thunder Zords. So that's 14. Ninja Zords, there were 6. And Shogun Zords, there were 5. So that's 11. Almost. They had 11 Zords in season 3, had 7 in season 2, and 7 in season 1. Which one we're on season 3? Season 3 of MMPR. So I think the storytelling for season 3 was way better. We got a lot more multi-parters. I want to say there were like, of the 38-ish episodes we had for season 3, only like 5 or 6 of them were one-shots. We had a lot of multi-parters, and multi-parters meant that they could take their time, tell a fun story, have more personality in them, and the transfer from Kim to Kat was actually handled really well. We got a proper send-off for Kim as a ranger. A lot of great stuff. Titanus came back in season 3 just for toy sales. It didn't make sense much, but you know, we took it. Has my favorite time paradox episode. Wait, which time paradox episode? Creates a time pair? What? Oh, I'm interested. Hit me. Hit me. Count the special Zords as their own since combined with all three seasons. All three season Zords. No, it's still 11. There's no specials, you know? The Power Rangers toys are the best. Damn right. Oh, Green Ranger and Colonial Times. Wait, but that was season 2. I'm fairly certain that was season 2, wasn't it? I thought it was. The Turtle Zord, that was Tor. Tor the Shuttle Zord was season 2. Yeah, that was season 2. I think it was Repro, because they didn't have ninja powers. And they got ninja powers by like episode 4. They definitely did not have ninja powers at the time. And I don't think Rito was around either. So I think that was season 2. I'm fairly certain, because they did not have ninja powers. I'm fairly certain of that. But as I was saying, season 3 is good. I think it's peak Mighty Morphin. I think it's the best the cast has ever been. I think it's the strongest the storytelling has ever been. I think it's the best the mecha have ever been. They really embraced using more of the Kaku Ranger, which was the source material that they used for Super Sentai. They embraced using more of the stock footage from that because they had the mecha that they were able to use. And more importantly, they actually constructed more cockpits for the individual Zords in each time. Each time they had new Zords, they made actual new cockpits that looked great. The set footage looked amazing for season 3. It still has some pacing issues. It still has some 90s cheesiness, but honestly, I would put it here if it weren't for Alien Rangers. But unfortunately, because season 3 ends and then transitions immediately into Alien Rangers with a not amazing plot, and it doesn't really end itself, but it requires you to watch Alien Rangers, it could have been better. I also don't love the Masked Rider crossover because they wanted to sell Masked Rider as a series in the US, and Masked Rider ended up being really bad. But I would, if it wasn't for Masked Rider and Alien Rangers, I would give season 3 a great, but unfortunately we gotta give it a good. We gotta give it a good. So the finale you're thinking of though, Jaden, the finale you're thinking of is actually the finale of Alien Rangers. That's the thing. The finale of season 3 just transitions into Alien Rangers. That's the unfortunate bit. But I'll always talk up, my favorite part of season 3 is the beginning, because there's the destruction of the Thunder Zords from Rito, with Rito's first introduction, and it's visceral. You see the Thunder Megazord's like arms falling off, the White Tiger Zord's head falls off, there's giant explosions, the Rangers Morphers get damaged, which is a canon piece of information that comes up later in the franchise. There's a lot of great stuff like that, you know, a lot of great stuff like that I really enjoyed. Excuse me as I drink some more hot cocoa. I have to pace myself with this list. I'm getting excited. I love talking about Power Rangers. Okay, so this is where things get weird. Cause like on one end, I want to say this, and I feel like I've been too harsh on Zeo recently. You know, I gotta rewatch the Power Rangers series now. Damn right you do. You can check out a lot of them on the Power Rangers official YouTube channel. You know, the thing about Zeo is I rewatched it within the past decade, and it did not age as well as I remember it aging. There's barely any plot episodes. I think like Zeo has, I think 50 episodes or like 49 or something like that. But the issue with Zeo is the music is a serious step down from MMPR season 2 and season 3 especially, aside from the opening. Some of the plots that happen in between episodes are not fun. They're just kind of boring and happen. And some of the plot episodes are like rehashed and recycled from like MMPR. And it's like, this should have felt like it was a season where the Rangers grew stronger than before. And they do in a lot of aspects, but there's a lot of things going back and watching that make Zeo stand out in not great ways. It still stands out in good ways. But the issues that I really have with it, yeah, there's way too many filler episodes, way too many filler episodes. How Billy was treated not only as a character, but how David Yost was treated as an actor because of all of the language that was used against him and why he exited the show. I was sad that Karen Ashley left, but I ended up loving Tanya, though I like her actually more in Turbo, which is kind of funny. And I don't know, Zio stumbled a lot, but Zio also had, I still think, the best intro to any season yet. I think the intro Zio Beginnings, or a Zio Beginning, or the Zio Beginning, I don't remember the actual name of the episode. I think that's by far the best Zio episode and the most fun. The Zio finale, not great. The Zio finale is not good. I don't like it. I think it was stupid that the Rangers grew to fight King Mondo. It didn't make sense. Power Rangers doesn't do that. It was a gamble. It did not pay off. It felt lazy. It felt rushed. Didn't like it. The other thing that I wasn't super fan of is bringing Jason back. I'm totally fine with, in retrospect. I didn't dislike Jason as a character from MMPR. I don't dislike Austin St. John as an actor. Zio Gold felt like they were kind of a misstep in a lot of ways. I think having them be Trey of Triforia at first was weird, and a weird plot hole they wrote themselves into for no reason. Ugh. I'm gonna ramble in a second. Have watched them in so long since my childhood. Understandable. Time to catch up. Can't believe you didn't talk about the Ski Lodge episode. I don't want to talk about the Ski Lodge episode. I really don't want to talk about the Ski Lodge episode. All I remember is aliens, but I forgot which one that was. Well, the Alien Rangers are in Zio in the team up episode, which is Rangers of Two Worlds, which is actually a good team up episode. But like the issue is like Zio Gold was just not super well handled. I think it was sloppy until it became Jason, and even then Jason not having his own morpher and he just waved his hands around, I think it was super stupid. I hated it. However, Gold Zio theme, really good. Zio opening theme, really good. Rest of the music was or just rehashes of what we heard in season 2 and season 3 of MMPR already. I will say, even though I complain a lot about Zio going back, I still have a lot of fond memories of it. I really liked the mecha. I was actually a big fan of it, or a big fan of them, I should say. And I liked a lot of the character relationship building. Obviously, with the Dear John letter that we got from Kimberly to Tommy, very unfortunate, very sad. But the relationship between Tommy and Kat building felt good. And the team building relationships with Zordon and Alpha and the rest of the team and everything like that felt good. It felt good. It did feel like it stepped up. I wish there was less high school stuff. I really, really wish there was less high school stuff in Zio. Really do. Sad that you lost the red Zio Zord toy. It was a cool concept as a gun. Oh yeah. The red Battle Zord, the red Zio Battle Zord or something. I can't remember the full name of it. There's so many Rangers that could make a whole country for them. There are a lot. There's 20 plus teams of 5 plus Rangers. So it'd be like 100 people. How many people do you need for a country? We'll call it Rangertopia. All right, hot cocoa has been finished. So for those reasons, I think Zio is good. It's not amazing. It's not great. I flip-flop a lot between, is MMPR Season 3 better? But I think I'm going to say Zio is better. You know, even though there's a lot of filler for Zio, I'm probably still going to say Zio is better. If only briefly. Okay. Now comes for the controversial hot takes that I am 100% correct with. I am never incorrect with my Power Rangers related opinions, not ever in the history of the life. And that is Turbo is okay. Turbo gets way too bad of a rap. You go back and watch Turbo, there's actually some good Turbo episodes. It's not wrong. Don't say just wrong. I am just correct. I am just actual factual. I'll have you know. Actual factual. Actually, I like that one. Good. Good. Turbo. No, Turbo's great. Turbo is actually not great. Turbo's actually okay. The thing about Turbo is a lot of people give it a bad flack because we have the transition from the original Turbo team, which was Tommy, Justin, Kat, Adam, and Tanya, into TJ, Ashley, Cassie, Carlos, and Justin staying with the team. Justin was a bad play. I think having a child ranger on the team that was kind of, hey, they're graduating high school, and then pulling it back into like childlike wonder was not the play. There was no reason to do it. Having the Rangers graduate felt awkward because they didn't really do anything with it except for Tommy becoming a race car driver, which didn't even last, and they had to keep the extreme of the 90s going. However, this is the big but. This is the big but. The thing that Turbo did really well is Zordon and Alpha leave very early into the season. I think it's literally at the end of the multi-parter that introduces the season. Zordon and Alpha leave and are left with and are replaced by Demetria and another Alpha. The thing that's weird about it, and a lot of people don't really talk about this, we see Tommy like step up more as a leader, because there are several situations where Tommy's like, can you just give me the answer instead of asking me a question or anything like that. I remember this one scene specifically where like the rest of the team got kidnapped and it was only Tommy that was left. And Tommy's asking Demetria for help, and she can't speak except for in questions. And she is trying to explain to Tommy, like, you need to like take charge and everything like that. You're the leader of the team. Like, do it, get out there, do some good work. And he finally like, he owns up to it. You know, he ends up becoming the leader that he should have been. What episode is that? It's like, I think it's the Reflections one. There's like Rangers made of like literal like reflections, and they kidnap the original team. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's literally in the first like 15 episodes for sure. And it's good. I think we get several episodes like that. I think Tanya is a significantly better written character in Turbo. She seems like she's having a lot more fun as an actress as well. Illusions, yeah. And it wasn't the Shadow Rangers. Oh, it may have been the Shadow Rangers. Maybe. Good question. I'm actually not sure. So which one is your favorite then? If we're talking episodes, I'd probably pick that episode or the power transfer, because I didn't hate the power transfer. It felt actually fun. Because there was, you know, TJ, Cassie, Ashley, and Carlos basically coming out of nowhere. And it felt like they actually like had a story for it rather than it just happening randomly. Which is good. I hate it when things just seemingly happen randomly in Power Rangers for no reason, and it's a shame. You meant the Rangers? Ooh, in Turbo, it'd probably still be Johnny Young Bosch as Adam. You know, Green Turbo. Divatox's creation. A Chromite closed the Rangers, forcing Tommy to discover their weaknesses and rescue the real Rangers. Yes, that episode. That episode. He has like a fight with Demetria. I think it's great. I think it shows growth and depth of a character that is used to having the answers fed to them, as the rest of the Rangers were. And we see it throughout the season, at least while they're there, that they are forced to grow and adapt and everything like that. Albeit, Turbo is using the stock footage from Gekiso Sentai Car Ranger. It's rough, because Car Ranger is a comedy season, and they very much make fun of the previous, like, almost 20 years of Super Sentai. They make fun of a lot of the tropes and a lot of the shortcomings and things like that happen in Super Sentai. So they don't take themselves seriously at all. However, Turbo is a very serious season, and they don't joke around a lot, at least with the first half, the first team. It felt like they started having a little bit more fun once the second team shows up, once TJ, Cassie, Ashley, and Carlos show up, which I think is good. I think the power transfer helped quite a bit. I'm sad that we didn't get to see the other Turbo Rangers get to that same point, because I feel like they would have been able to. But Turbo has a lot of missteps, but Turbo's not nearly as bad as people give it credit for, or give it slack for, I should say. Just like go on during RPM. RPM's different. They handled that way better than I was anticipating. Had to be your favorite show as a kid, because I don't know half of the Power Rangers up there. Oh, I love Power Rangers. I absolutely love Rangers. It's one of my favorite franchises of all time, you know? It probably is my favorite franchise, now that I think about it. Yes, so that's the other thing I was going to talk about. Turbo had a not terrible beginning. It was basically a rehash of the movie. The Turbo movie wasn't actually that bad. There's some goofiness to it, but like, we get fight scenes, we get A good Megazord fight that wasn't CG. I liked the Turbo movie. We also get Shift to the Turbo as the theme. You know, shift into turbo. I thought that theme slapped. That theme was a banger. Absolute certified banger. Turbo had really good music. Better than Zio's. Not the opening, but overall Turbo had better music than Zio did. I'll tell you that much. But the other stuff, it's hard for Turbo to keep up. It's hard for it to catch its pace that it wants to do. It gets better once the new cast shows up, but because it's almost halfway through the season when it happens, it's a little awkward. And then we get the finale, which is Chase into Space, where Divatox destroys the power chamber, and Demetria and Alpha are forced to leave. Or is it just Demetria? It might be just Demetria leaves, and Alpha stays behind with the Rangers. Unfortunate. The pizza episode, yeah. The pizza episode is one people like to talk about a lot. I still think, even with the pizza episode being really silly, and a lot of the theming of Turbo being really silly, I still don't think it's nearly as bad of a season as people give it credit for, or slack for. Great for childhoods, yeah, of course. But that leads us into our first amazing season, which is Power Rangers in Space. God, what can I say about Power Rangers in Space that hasn't already been said? I think most people will agree with me when I say this. Power Rangers in Space is one of the greatest seasons Power Rangers has ever had, period. Because if you've watched these previous 5 seasons, they lead directly into In Space. Turbo's finale literally goes right into In Space. They are so intrinsically connected. In order to get the amazingness that is In Space, you have to have the not so greatness of Turbo. You know, amazing's really hot. I'm right though. You know, I'm right though. But you so right. There we go. There we go. We like to hear it. We like to hear it. Yeah, In Space is the culmination of the past 6 or 7 years of Power Rangers, and it's great because of it. You know, we get this amazingness that is Power Rangers in Space because we had some not so great seasons, some okay seasons, some good seasons, and then we get In Space. This was actually supposed to be the finale, the end of all Power Rangers. They were told, hey, listen, Power Rangers ratings from Turbo weren't that great. The toy sales weren't that great. In Space, hey guys, this is probably going to be your last season. This is probably going to be your last season. So just keep that in mind. Tell a compelling story. The budget is the sky. Go as crazy as you want. And they went crazy. In Space has some of the craziest sets, some crazy mecha fights. They're in space. I love the Astro Mega Ship as a set. Don't love it as a mecha. Love it as a set. I think it was great to have it as a base and also transform into their main mecha. You know, the end, but they add a bunch more. It's true. My one gripe with In Space is the crossover with the worst incarnation of the Ninja Turtles. I'm not gonna say that In Space is without fault. There's some stupidness. There is some stupidness with In Space, but I think I would only ever put it here and at the top of great. Amazing feels right because there's so much good about In Space that can be talked about aside from the TMNT crossover episode. They have a team up with Justin, who did not join them from Turbo, which I thought was good because we get to check in and see how he's doing. Even if we didn't love him, like, it's good for continuity, you know? Rangers X TMNT was so random? I don't think so. I think the demographic is very similar. I think so, at least. All Power Rangers had stupidness, but it's fun, though. I agree. Even though the TMNT crossover episode's not great, I still had fun with it. I still had a lot of fun with it. So, the good things about In Space: fantastic intro, fantastic mecha and designs. I think the space theme really helped because space was huge in the 90s, especially with the resurgence of Star Wars and things of that nature. Thought the TMNT show was okay before the crossover. I don't think I ever actually watched it. I think. I'm trying to think. I guess not. All right, anyway. Mecha were good, even if I didn't love the Astro Mega Ship. Rangers themselves were great. Andros was a fantastic Red Ranger. TJ transitioning into Blue Ranger, I actually significantly liked him more. Even though I already really liked him as a character, I thought he shined in space. Carlos's interactions with Adam during Adam's return for that one episode was amazing, but I am also biased because I love Adam. Ashley was kind of my like, I don't love her, but I definitely don't hate her. There's been significantly worse Rangers. She does a good job. She's still good. I also like her and Andros together. I think it's a cute couple. And Cassie, I just think is fantastic. I think she's a top 5 Pink Ranger easy. I think how she acts in the show and how she portrays the character, just good stuff. The other great thing about In Space is its villains. Astronema is probably still my #1 pick for a villain across the Power Rangers franchise. Even to this day, I would still probably pick Astronema as #1. Because she's a villain by circumstance. And the circumstance and the storytelling behind it, really well done and spans across the entire season. Plus, Ecliptor is a fantastic general who actually sides with Astronema 99.9% of the time and just wants what's best for her. He's loyal to her and not their big bad, which is Dark Spectre. Dark Conda is a really, really creepy villain that does really well, and they transitioned it really well from Denji Sentai Mega Ranger, the source material for Power Rangers in Space. And the Psycho Rangers. I don't think we could get through this without talking about the Psycho Rangers. Fantastic, like, it was like 8 episodes? I think it was like 8 episodes that we see the Psycho Rangers terrorize our space team, and they have to really start thinking outside the box and coming up with different strategies than just fighting with everything you've got. You know, we see TJ with the whole like, hey, what if we were all blue? Then we could take out Blue. Pink, I think they baited her out because she was obsessed with killing Pink, you know? Astronema is also Andros' sister. Yes, that is canon. And then it becomes Corone, obviously, or was Corone, and becomes Lost Galaxy Pink, which we'll talk about. And then I think I briefly talked about it. We had okay crossovers. TMNT crossover was The Adam return and becoming MMPR Black again was fantastic. The Justin team up I actually thought was good. And then we had the finale. The finale for freaking In Space is so good. Oh my gosh. The finale for In Space is so good. It is the culmination of the past 5 or 6 years of Power Rangers. And you really see it, especially for characters like Bulk and Skull, who are delegated to comedic relief throughout the entire franchise, finally have a moment where they get to stand up and they have the moment of we are the Power Rangers. And it really, I think I said this every time I've talked about the show, it really cements that point that anyone can be a Power Ranger so long as you're willing to stand up for what is right and help people that are in need. And that is I think the perfect culmination that the franchise has ever had. I don't think it's ever topped that. I think Countdown to Destruction is still the best episode or the best series of episodes we've ever had. Because not only do we have that, we have Zordon's sacrifice, which destroys all the current evil in the universe. But Zordon being the whole point of In Space, the Rangers followed Divatox into space because they learned that Zordon had been kidnapped and they have to go rescue him. Same with Andros. And they finally find him after looking for him for the entire season, and they have to sacrifice him. You know? Bulk and Skull were random? I don't think so. Not for In Space, they didn't feel like it. They had their silly plots. They sure did. But I really liked the development they had as characters. Forgot why Elgar was in space besides comic relief. I think that was it. I think they thought that the enemy team or the monster team, the bad guys, would have been too terrifying if they didn't have Elgar with them. So, would you prefer Mega Ranger in space? In space. It's not fair though, because this is one story. These seasons that we have on screen right now is one story. It is one concurrent story that comes to the climax in Space. And it's not fair because In Space does everything right. So Mega Ranger is fun, and I definitely liked it way more my second time around. But In Space, clear winner. 100%. I don't think I could say anything else about In Space that hasn't already been said. Fantastic season. If you get the chance, please watch these other seasons first and then watch In Space. You know? You remember an alien girl, but you don't remember her name. Like Alien Rangers? You got me. My brain's gonna hurt after this stream. Me too. I'm already feeling it. Here, let me crack something open. There we go. Was Zordon Alpha's home planet enslaved, destroyed between Turbo and in space? I think so. Or it was during like the finale that they were kind of like waging war onto it. You know? Hearing In Space was your favorite. It's not. I just think In Space is really good. I just think it's neat. I just think it's neat. Oh, homie. So let's move on from In Space after I take a swig. So this run of Power Rangers is commonly referred to as the Zordon era. I commonly put Lost Galaxy in the Zordon era as an epilogue, you know? So you're going to real detail about your favorite? Oh, listen, I'll go into detail about everything. I'll go into detail about Lost Galaxy too. I don't care. Listen, I'm here. I'm 50% clear, probably more, and we're ready to party. Lost Galaxy is the epilogue to the Zordon saga. So in space, we lose Zordon, but Lost Galaxy, we get a fresh, brand new team that has not been in any Power Rangers teams before. The cool thing about Lost Galaxy is even though we get a new team, we get really, really personal relationships between them and really, really good development and growth for a lot of them too. Maybe not Maya. Maya's kind of like my standout. Like, I don't love this character because she felt like a MacGuffin 99% of the time. But Leo, I think, is fantastic. I really like Kai. I really like Kendricks. I really like Damon. And I really, really liked Corone. The big thing with Lost Galaxy is nothing is done poorly. There is one of, if not the best crossover episode we've ever had, which is a team up within space, which is to the 10th power, or to the power of 10, and then the power of pink. And it's where we get our first Ranger death with Kendricks. And it's emotional, it's sad, it's crazy. I'm gonna say, just for the sake of saying it, the actress for Kendricks ended up leaving the show because she needed to receive treatment for leukemia at the time. And so they thought that they would send her off in a kind of heroic sacrifice, which played off really well in Lost Galaxy. It was fantastic. I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was well handled. And then they brought her back in the finale because she was in remission from her leukemia and had seemingly beat it, which is also fantastic. What is Ginga Yellow / Lost Galaxy Yellow's Zord? I don't remember what Lost Galaxy Yellow's is, but Ginga Yellow's was Ginga Varick, which I think is like a fox. I think Varick. I could look that up. What's a Varick? Or a Varick? Oh no, it's not. Hold on. Ginga Varick. What is it? What is a Varick? It's wolf-like, according to Google. So it was basically a wolf. Basically a wolf. Okay, we can take that. It's a wolf, yeah. We'll take that. So, talking about Lost Galaxy, really good cast. Maya's kind of the only character that I don't love. I think Mike isn't as great as he could have been. I think they handled the transition or the source material of Gingaman, Seiju Sentai Gingaman, as the source material really, really well. I like the fact that the Magna Defender / Bull Black was very well handled. There are some points where I like Magna Defender way more than Bull Black, sometimes not. Fantastic extra ranger. Oh, I didn't talk about Zane at all for In Space. Oh well. I like Zane, but whatever. Lost Galaxy just does everything good and great. There's never like really, really bad points of Lost Galaxy, except for maybe like where they actually try and find their namesake, which did not really work. And they tried to use like the suits. What was his name again? Like Captain Catastrophe or something stupid like that. That was dumb. That was really dumb. What do you think the best episode in this one was? Ooh. To the 10th power, probably, where we get the team up of the In Space Rangers and the Lost Galaxy Rangers fighting the Psycho Rangers from In Space. Because it's just a fantastic team up. Captain Mutiny, that's what it was. Captain Mutiny. Yeah, it was a dumb name. Dumb premise. I wish they just didn't do it at all. Because the villains they had for Lost Galaxy were actually really good. I I didn't love Scorpius, but like him only being the main villain for half the show actually worked out pretty well, because then we get Trakina really going down the step of no return, and she becomes a monster and a shadow of her former self. And it's heartbreaking to see the transition of someone that didn't have to be a villain become a villain. And then the inverse of it, having Corone, who was Astronema in a previous season, come in and fill Kendrick's shoes and become Lost Galaxy Pink. I like the juxtaposition between the two of them. I think it was a very interesting piece. I don't know if they intended to do it that way or if it was just convenient, but Trakina is a top 5 villain as well. Corone was awesome to have come back. Great fight scenes, great choreography. The only big complaints that I have for Lost Galaxy, I don't love the mecha. I'm not a big fan of the mecha in this season. I don't love Mike as a character, but it might have just been like him that I didn't like, or the actor that I didn't like. I like the Magna Defender. Don't get me wrong. Magna Defender Pog, super Pog, loved him. Didn't love Mike. Did not love Mike. And then Mike's Morpher breaks, so he can't even become the Magna Defender anymore. You know? That's dumb. That's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. People who don't want to become a villain is kind of touching. Yeah, like it's unfortunate for Trakina. I think one of the worst parts of Lost Galaxy though is probably the music. They move away from like the rock that they had been doing in the previous seasons with Ron Wasserman, especially because Ron Wasserman exited the show in space, I think. But Lost Galaxy is all like trumpets and orchestral and symphonic and things like that, and it's not great. There's a mashup somewhere on YouTube. I feel like it may have been done by Linkara, or he pointed it out in one of his videos, where like they overlaid like Ron Wasserman music to a fight scene in Lost Galaxy, and it fits so much better. No, I love orchestra music. I think orchestra music is great, but there's a time and a place for it. You know? Like, I like jazz, you know? But orchestral music doesn't hit me as, like, fight music. Like, I'm not trying to fight to, like, Beethoven, you know? I'm trying to fight to, like, some metal guitars, shredding drums, things like that. Ninja Storms was great. I loved Ninja Storms fight themes. Dino Thunder has some good ones too. Yeah, it's not fight music. That's my point. It's calm music or just trumpets, you know? I would totally fight to Beethoven. Listen, I'll fight you with my mouth. Got him. I don't know what I mean by that, but listen, I'll do it. Orchestra music for fights, it don't fit at all. For Power Rangers, it doesn't. Especially because the previous 6 seasons that we had was all like rock and metal. And it just, Lost Galaxy, it lost it there. But everything else for Lost Galaxy is fantastic. Great intro, great finale, great cast. It's just, it stumbles a few times with its pacing and some of its storytelling, but still good. You could bite them, but you might lose your teeth. Nah, it's fine. I'm good. What? Don't worry about it. I'm saying my favorite crossover was Forever Red. Not mine. I still think there's a better one. We'll get there. We will get there. I'll tell you where it's not, though. Lightspeed Rescue. I think you're wrong. What? It's crazy. I've never been wrong in my entire life. I've never been wrong in my entire life. Never. Never. I'm actually tempted to do this. I'm debating. Oh. Funny, didn't think of their sword morphers to carry around. True. I guess today's the day you're wrong because, man, what do you mean? I've never, listen, this is the most factual actual tier list of my entire life. I think I'm gonna go here. I think I'm gonna do that. Lightspeed Rescue's always been in a weird place for me. I think Lightspeed Rescue does a lot of things really well, but I think Lightspeed Rescue also struggles with its own identity. Now, what is the bottom line in this season? Anyone in chat, feel free to answer. What is the bottom line? What's the bottom line? Huh? Hit me. This word right here. What is this word? Lightspeed Rescue forgets constantly that it is a rescue-based season. Constantly. They forget that the primary purpose of the team is that they're supposed to rescue people. And having watched QQ Sentai Go-Go 5 as the source material for Lightspeed Rescue, where it never forgets that it's a rescue-based show and about family, it's all Lightspeed and no rescue. They rescue people in like the first couple of episodes and then drop it immediately. There's so many times where I'm just confused, because even for the Rangers being recruited, Carter is a firefighter, Dana is a paramedic, that's it. No one else is trained in rescue services, ever. Like, Joel was a stunt pilot. Kai, no, not Kai, what's his name? Chad was a marine performer, and Casey was a rock climber. Like, it just doesn't fit. And then Ryan, the Titanium Ranger, is just nepotism. My son gets powers because he gets powers, you know? It's frustrating. It's frustrating because it messes with the theming of the show a lot. And there are a lot of times where they're fighting things that I'm like, why? I don't understand this. I'm confused. Carter's great. Dana's okay. Joel's fantastic. Chad and Casey never really get time to shine, and a lot of time gets taken away and put towards Ryan as the Titanium Ranger. The plot for Lightspeed Rescue is a bunch of demons. The plot for Lightspeed Rescue is a bunch of demons show up and are attacking the Earth. So I don't remember the name of the organization. I think it's just Lightspeed Rescue. Creates the Lightspeed Morphers, creates that team, and starts fighting back against the demons. And it's a fine plot, but they forget that the theme is supposed to be rescue a lot of the time. It's not bad by any means, but same issue that Lost Galaxy has. The symphonic farty trumpet music gets really, really lost in battle scenes. There's a significantly more large emphasis put on characters like Carter and Ryan than anyone else. And they're not a family either. I wish they kind of followed that theme for Go-Go 5. But yeah, there's just... Lightspeed Rescue misses a lot. And I think people like to look back at it with rose-tinted glasses as being like the most great season possible. But it really struggles. And it really struggles to maintain its identity a lot of the time. The other kicker as to why it's so frustrating, they have a crossover episode with Lightspeed, or with Lost Galaxy, and it's a really bad crossover episode. It's just bad. The plot is bad. They underpaid the actors comparatively to like some of the other people. They brought back Trakina for like no reason at all. You know, I like Lightspeed because of the Titanium Ranger mini arc. That is a good part. I'm talking a lot about the negatives for Lightspeed Rescue. Trakina, they brought back the main villain from Lost Galaxy for Lightspeed Rescue, and it just didn't work. Because I don't think it was her. I think she refused to come back because she was underpaid, or she walked off or something. Yeah. They recast her or something like that because she was being paid less than the child star for the crossover episode. And I'm like, you kidding me? That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. Yeah, just a lot of stupid stuff like that. It really marred down Lightspeed Rescue as a season. The good stuff, and now I'm talking about like the actual good stuff. Ryan, the Titanium Ranger, was fantastic. I think he was an incredibly well-handled character. He had a fun arc. The fact that he's a completely original character for Lightspeed Rescue and not at all in the source material of Go-Go 5, I think that's fantastic. They nailed that, and I'm glad that they got to do something like that. I wish they would do more stuff like that. But I know it was very expensive. Funny thought the Train Zords copied Thomas Train when oh yeah, especially the parody Rangers. Oh my gosh, so true. Love it. Yeah, it was good stuff. Hi Aaron Voorhees, welcome in. It's going well. We just finished up talking about Lightspeed Rescue. Power Rangers is still running. Yes, next year is the 30th anniversary, which is why I wanted to do this, because we're not only getting Power Rangers Cosmic Fury as a follow-up season to Dino Fury, We're also getting a 30th anniversary special with a lot of veteran Rangers like David Yost, Steve Cardenas, Walter Jones, Karen Ashley, Catherine Sunderland, and Johnny Young Bosch. I feel like I'm missing one. Is that everybody? I think that's right. I think that's right. And in character Trini's daughter. So I didn't even know, but I want to watch it. Now you know. Now you know. You can watch these seasons on Netflix as well. Beast Morphers and Dino Fury are on Netflix. So you should be able to watch them. I think they're working on getting all of these back on Netflix as well. But you can watch a bunch of them on YouTube for free as well. Yeah, 30th anniversary is next year. Isn't that crazy? Okay, moving on from Lightspeed Rescue. Again, Lightspeed Rescue is good. It's not bad. It struggles with identity a lot of the time. It forgets that it is a rescue-based season. And the Titanium Ranger is probably the best part of it entirely. So there we go. Time Force. Oh, here we go. One of, if not my favorite season. And this goes back and forth between another season, which I'll talk about later. Generally, I will always consider Time Force to be the best season of Power Rangers if you've never seen another season. If you have never, ever, ever seen another season of Power Rangers, Time Force is not only a great season to jump in on, but just one of the best seasons all around. Fantastic cast. Wes, Jen, and Eric really, really sell the show on the Ranger side of things. Rancic is a completely made up and original villain for the Americanized version of Time Force. And it's fantastic. Very well written, very well acted. The scenes in Time Force are great. The action's great. They almost one-to-one copied the plot from its source material, Mirai Sentai Time Ranger. They almost copied it one-to-one, and it shows in a good way. Because it still felt like it had its own identity and still performed really well. Time Force is just, it's almost everything is done perfectly. There are still some things that it doesn't do perfectly or doesn't do amazing, but for the most part, Time Force kills it. Also, banger of an opening theme. Banger of an opening theme. I like Time Force opening theme. I hope it doesn't get back on Netflix. If it does, it'll likely vanish off of YouTube. No, because they own it on YouTube. It's their official YouTube channel that they're putting it on YouTube. And now they just get free ad revenue forever, you know? They got Virgil as the Sixth Ranger. They did. Yeah, they got Dan Southworth, who is Virgil's voice actor in Devil May Cry, to be Eric as the Quantum Ranger. Eric, fantastic Sixth Ranger. The relationship and rivalry between him and Wes, who is Jason Font, is fantastic. I think their acting was great in the show. I like that we have a team of, like, these people feel like adults. Lightspeed Rescue, they did not feel like adults, but, like, Time Force, like, it feels like these are, like, young adults having young adult problems, you know? And it felt good because of that. I don't know how much else I can say. I feel like this is gonna be a short one. Like, Time Force is like, this is a great season. Go watch this. This is an amazing season. Go watch this. Oh my goodness gracious. You want to show your aunt, you, a VTuber, I think she hates it? Why? What have I done? I'm just talking about Power Rangers. Man, that's some malarkey. That's some malarkey. Would you want to be a Power Ranger? If they ever offered me a role, I'd say yes, but I think I am past the age / point of my bunniness that I would be able to fit in the show. The only thing I would be able to do is probably be like a Sixth Ranger, or like, I don't know, something like that, or voice act a character that's like animated or something like that, you know? Didn't know the villain was cool in Commando and Matt. Wait, what? I don't think I knew that. How old is the range? They usually want like early 20s or like late teens. Sixth Ranger's usually much older than the rest of the team. Not always. Not always. Sometimes they're younger, sometimes they're older, sometimes they're the same age as everyone else. It depends on the season. It ranges, but usually the only time you get like quote unquote older Rangers is when they're not part of the core team. I'm looking at things like SPD, I'm looking at Mystic Force, I'm looking at Jungle Fury, you know. The Time Force Zords, I see some hit and miss on the Time Force Zords. Time Force Zords, I think, are pretty meh. However, I do think the cool thing about Time Force Zords was the fact that they had like a sniper mode and like a sword mode, and they were two distinct mecha, and they had the super ship, and they had the whatever the unpiloted mecha was that then they combined with. I thought that shit was dope. Dino Thunder, we'll get to Dino Thunder, don't worry. We'll get to Dino Thunder Vanguard. Don't worry. By time to apply, I'm not gonna get the job. Listen, sometimes you gotta just give it, you gotta give it your all. You gotta give it your all, 100%. But yeah, Time Force is fantastic. I think probably the worst part of Time Force is the mecha. But even then, like, not super bad. Don't love the battleizers. I don't love the battleizers in Time Force. Felt very awkward. Like, the roller skates were like, oh, weird. Really weird. Really weird roller skates. Also really weird that a time traveling group of Power Rangers from the future, one of the battleizers is a knight, like a medieval knight. Like, no, come on, man. No, please think this through. But yeah, Time Force, fantastic. If you've never seen another season of Power Rangers, this is probably the best season you can watch. Yeah, the night battleizers were out of nowhere. Yeah, please watch Time Force if you have not already. Even if you've never seen another season of Power Rangers, Time Force is fucking fantastic. Go watch it. All right, now it's time for Wild Force, which I'll probably put there. That's a tough one. Wild Force over Lightspeed Rescue? Wild Force over Lightspeed Rescue? I think so. I think I'm going to do that. So, Wild Force was the end of the Saban era of Power Rangers, which you can see the logo for Saban there and there. It's like the yellow text above the logo. But Wild Force came out in, I believe it was 2002 or 2003. And they were transitioning from Saban to Disney, because Disney bought the rights to Power Rangers from Saban. And it was like mid-film where they were like setting everything up. And I think usually this is still considered part of the Saban era. Yeah, the Mickey Mouse era. I think this is still considered part of the Saban era, because it wasn't until like halfway through the season that Disney actually took over. So I think we usually consider this part of Saban. The thing about Wild Force, and why I usually talk so closely about it near Time Force, is they did the same thing that Time Force did, where they copied the plot one for one. They copied the plot one for one and did it worse. And where Time Force was, it was on par and different. Wild Force was, they just did it worse. It wasn't bad because of it, and nothing about Wild Force was especially bad except for like the child god aspects in the end of the season, which was actually trash. It was that bad in Gao Ranger as well, the source material, Hyakuju Sentai Gao Ranger. Just as bad in Gao Ranger. Not kidding. Just as garbage. Time Force was the same time as the Digimon movie. Probably around the same time. I feel like if you can copy a plot good, then it's fine, but if you can't, don't do it. Yeah, they messed up on copying this. It didn't feel great. It did not feel great. How long is the stream exactly? Until we finish everything. We've got a lot of seasons left, so we're gonna be going for a while. I feel like watching the current last season would be a great start. I mean, you're not wrong. This connects slightly to Beast Morphers, but other than that, it's like they talk about some other seasons. I think you'd be fine with doing that. But even so, I'm always a proponent of just start with MMPR, because it's hard to go back to MMPR if you've seen other shows, you know? 2-week-long stream, there you go. We better not talk bad about the Zenaku arc. That was my favorite arc from Wild Force. It's definitely the best arc of Wild Force. Everything that happens with Zenaku is definitely the best parts of Wild Force. It's also the best parts of Gao Ranger, because they, like I said, they literally copied the plot. Gao Ranger has the exact same problems that Wild Force has, because it's the same story, but it also has the same triumphs. Wild Force, I think, really excels in the team's camaraderie and bonding. You really feel for them as a team as the season goes on. However, I will say I think Merrick sucks as a 6th Ranger. I don't like Merrick at all. I think he's like the worst ranger on the team. Very rarely do I dislike 6th rangers. Don't like Merrick. I don't like Merrick at all in Wild Force as the 6th ranger. He's one of my least favorite 6th rangers. Like no cap. Actually one of my least favorite. I feel like the acting job was just not there. Or maybe the direction was not there. And the storytelling they put for him was just not there. Did not feel him. But again, I'm biased because I've seen Gal Ranger and I loved Gal Silver. Gal Silva was so freaking cool. Like, you look at him and you go, damn, that dude's cool. That dude's sick. That dude's hot. That dude's sick. That dude's nasty. That dude is awesome. And then you look at Merrick and it's like, who is this dude trying to be cool? You know what I mean? It's like the difference between someone being naturally cool and the other person trying to be cool. Now you're just hating. I am hating, but I'm right. Okay, well, like I was saying, some of the good points of Wild Force is the team camaraderie and the team building. The interpersonal relationships between everybody is fantastic. I think the Zords being alive was actually a really nice touch, because when we get to the finales or the lead ups into the finales and the Wild Zords are destroyed, you feel for them because there's a lot of relationships between the Rangers and their personal Zords. The crossover episodes, plural, are fantastic. Obviously, Wild Force is where we get Forever Red because it's our 10-year anniversary with Wild Force. And with what is it, Reinforcements from the Future, I forgot the name for a second. Reinforcements from the Future is the other crossover, which I actually think is better than Forever Red. Reinforcements from the Future is a 2-parter with Time Force, where they fight a bunch of mutants that came back from the future and combined with orgs, which are the enemies in Wild Force. And not only do we get all of the Rangers back, every single Ranger comes back for the team up and participates in the Wild Force team up. But we also get Rancic to come back and have like a mini redemption arc, because he's like, hey, listen, I messed up. This is my fault. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come help you do this. It shouldn't be like this. And it's great. We get to see Jen in like a Sarah Connor outfit with a sniper rifle, sniping bitches. She's such a badass. Jen is such a badass in the crossover, and I think it's better than Forever Red. But regardless, 2 fantastic crossovers. I also like the story between Master Org and Cole. Agreed. It was fantastic. That was something they did originally, because that didn't happen in Gal Ranger. The main Red Ranger had no connection with the big bad. I think that was fantastic. I think it was done really well for Wild Force. And the only things that I like to complain about for Wild Force are, like, I don't like the 6th Ranger. The music's okay. There's some really not great filler episodes. I hate the Animal God. It's not fun. It's also not fun in Gal Ranger. So unfortunately they did, you know, grab that. But what's really preventing it from being great or the top of good, I think it's just those small things. I think they just add up too much. But the crossovers really help keep it there. The relationships between the characters help keep it there. And the finale is absolutely fantastic. They do an unmorphed roll call in the rain. They're like, hey, we might not have powers anymore, but we're still gonna fight you. And then it's so great. It's really good. It's really good. Again, copied from Gal Ranger. You know, crossover cool but confusing. They're not super confusing for Wild Force, because it's like Time Force is time travelers, so they come back in time to help the Wild Force Rangers. You know. Hey, Oceano, welcome in. Hope you're doing fantastic. We're doing the tier list. Yeah, I wanted to do an updated one for 2022. Now that we're at the end of the year, and next year we're going into, you know, the 30th anniversary for Power Rangers, and I still don't have a video of this up. So I was like, you know what? Let's have this going. Let's have this up. Let's have something that people can look at and go back to and listen to my absolutely perfect and not bad at all takes, because I'm right about everything Power Rangers related ever in the history of the life. Okay. Yeah, 2023. We're coming up on it. All right, next is Ninja Storm. He go lying again? I've never lied. Not once in my entire life. Hello, iTunes. Go away. Next is Ninja Storm. Ninja Storm, I think I look at more fondly than a lot of other people. Wait, Power Rangers first aired in 93. Yep. August of 93. August of 93. That's why we have a Power Rangers Day. You know? All right, so next is Power Rangers Ninja Storm. This is the first official takeover for Disney. It was the first season that Disney actively produced, shot, worked on, everything like that. And it shows. It feels different from Wild Force. We get new music composition. We get new special effects. We get a new cast. And the big thing was we got a new locale. Power Rangers now shifted from the Disney era into filming in New Zealand, which is where it still airs, or I'm sorry, still films to this day. They're still shooting in New Zealand, which I think is dope. The cool thing about Power Rangers Ninja Storm is we start with a core 3 Rangers with Shane, Dustin, and Tori. And I love them. We talked about relationship building between the Rangers and Wild Force. Having a core cast of 3 Rangers does so well because they can take their time, develop each Ranger, develop the relationships between each other, give them all time to shine before introducing more people. And then they introduce the Thunder Rangers, which are fantastic. They get their own development, then they get their own relationships with Ninja Storm. And then we get the best 6th Ranger of all time, Cam. Cam becoming the Green Samurai Ranger in Ninja Storm, I still believe is one of the best arcs in all of Power Rangers. I'm so mad that more people don't talk about it. I'm mad that people don't talk about how amazing Cam is as not only a Ranger, but a 6th Ranger. Arguably the best Green Ranger of all time. Definitely beats Tommy. Tommy sucked as a Green Ranger. Good as a White Ranger, good as a Black Ranger, okay as a Red Ranger. Ninja Storm's struggles, I would say, is probably with its villains. Do you prefer the Green Samurai Ranger over his Sentai version? This is where I can't make comparisons anymore. I've only seen, I think, the first 10 episodes of the source material, Ninpu Sentai Hurricaneger. I was watching it, but then I decided to start doing Tokusatsu Sundays with my community. So we started over with Jetman. And now we're about to watch Time Ranger once we finish Kamen Rider Black and Black RX. So eventually I will watch Hurricaneger and we will continue to go through different Power Rangers and Sentai and all that kind of stuff. And I'm excited to do so. And I love being able to spend time with the community. If you're interested in joining !Discord in chat, we do watch every Sunday, but we're on a break until right after the New Year's. So come hang out. We're going to be doing it again. I think January 15th is when we return with more Kamen Rider Black. We're almost done with that. Then we'll dive into Black RX and then Time Ranger, which is going to be fun. But I think the big issues with Ninja Storm are probably with its villains. A lot of people dislike the fact that it's a comedy-based villain. Lothar is very much hit or miss. I think he's a hit for me. I really like Lothar. I think he's funny. I think he's witty. I think there's charm that comes from it. Because it almost reminds me of how Ivan Ooze acted in the 1995 Power Rangers movie. Where he's like, I know I'm better than you, so I'm just going to joke. I'm just going to have fun. Because if I don't, then this is going to be boring. And I liked that. That's what I saw Lothar as. And I enjoyed that. But I know it was very hit or miss for other people. Especially considering what seemed like it was supposed to be a serious season was not. And then it was serious at times. Ninja Storm's Battleizer was cool. The arc leading into it was not so cool. And I'm trying to think of anything else that was especially negative. I think that's like it for like negatives. I didn't like the Rangers losing their powers at the end, but they ended up getting them back in Dino Thunder anyway. So like, I guess that doesn't matter. But Ninja Storm's finale was fantastic. One of my favorite lines comes out of Ninja Storm is, we may not have our Ranger powers, but we still have power. And then they do their ninja poses because they're ninjas. And they're like, well, listen, we may not be Power Rangers, but I still got air power, water power, earth power. And they take down Lothar with their ninja powers. And it's this ultimate culmination of the 3 slackers from the beginning of the season failing to beat the big bad with their Ranger powers and then beating them with their ninja powers instead. And I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. I think we get to see like the culmination of their journey and becoming full-fledged ninja at that point. And I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I had a lot of fun with this season. I think all of the characters shine. All of the interpersonal relationships are fantastic. The only reason I don't put it up here is I try to keep this top 5 because I do usually have 5 for this. But this is easy number 6. Easy number 6. It's fine to have villains, a bit of comic relief. Usually, yeah. It's just when it's the main big bad, it can be a little frustrating sometimes. Because like you expect like the main big bad to be like Lord Zed tier, you know? They still have their elemental powers. Yeah, because they're ninjas. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, am I missing? Am I missing some of these things? Or did things get deleted? I have no idea. Anyway. Ninja Storm's great. Only reason I don't put it here is Lothor is sometimes a miss. Most of the time I think he's a hit. Most of the time I think most of the villains are a hit. There are just some times where I'm like the tone of the show feels off. Now we get to Dino Thunder. Who was it that was asking about Dino Thunder before? Okay, so here's my video essay on how Dino Thunder is the worst season. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Dino Thunder is amazing. Dino Thunder is absolutely fantastic. No, no, no. Listen, it was a joke. It was a joke. Don't click off the stream. Yeah, Dino Rangers. Dino Rangers roar. Power Rangers score. Also banger theme. So, Dino Thunder. I flip-flop a lot with Time Force. I think I'm gonna be real right now, and this kind of spoils some of the rest of the list. And this is kind of a not really a lukewarm take. This is a pretty cold take. I think most people think this is a pretty safe answer. I think Time Force is the best season of Power Rangers if you've never seen another Power Rangers season, because the only thing it ties into is an okay crossover episode with Lightspeed Rescue. It's the only thing it has tying itself to another season. Dino Thunder, however, ties very heavily into every other season that we've seen, and it is a significantly better season when you've seen all these other seasons, especially the MMPR all the way up through In Space Saga, because of Tommy. You're my favorite Power Rangers nerd. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think someone made a re-sang of the intro. Yes, Sayu ended up doing it, which I gotta bring him to the cafe at some point if he's ever willing to come in. I would freaking love to bring Sayu in and just geek out about Power Rangers and voice acting and things like that. I would love to vibe with him at some point, some capacity. So the thing about Dino Thunder that's fantastic, it is an anniversary season that was not an anniversary season, because Wild Force was your 10. Dino Thunder I think is your 12 year. They literally pay homage to so many other seasons of Power Rangers, and they do it well. Tommy is back as like the mentor character and becomes Dino Thunder Black. Fantastic. Connor, Ethan, and Kira are 3 of the best and most likable Rangers in their relationships and how they grow. Trent is a very recognizable like green with evil situation where he becomes the evil White Ranger and then becomes the good White Ranger and joins the rest of the team. There's so many things done well in Dino Thunder that's like they looked back at these other seasons. You know, they looked at Mighty Morphin, they looked at Zeo, they looked at all of these and went, that was good. We can do it better. You know? Day of the Dumpster over Day of the Dino. Pfft. What? That's crazy. You wrong. That's an interesting take, but you're wrong. You're wrong. Sorry. I would take Day of the Dino over Day of the Dumpster. Oh, my apologies. See, listen. I'm easy to jump. I've got my finger on the trigger. You know, I'm ready. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to throw hands. I'm ready to fisticuffs. You know? Yes, 100%. There's a lot of homages paid. There's a lot of really smart stuff done in Dino Thunder. Dino Thunder's music is really good. You have that rock, that like soft rock theme with it, and the fighting music is like that too. They have a freaking fantastic crossover episode with Ninja Storm. Oh, they have like the database episode. Enjoy the episode with Rangers looking at Tommy's past. Yes, they have the database episode where they look into the other Ranger team's past and things like that. Also dope. I think the mecha is really cool looking. I love all the extra mecha we get. I love the Drago Stegozord. I forget what that's actually called. The Drago Megazord. I don't know. the Dragozord and the Stegozord combined to make that Megazord. I think that looks great. The Brachiozord was but like, fantastic season. Good Battleizer that I was actually okay with. The stretchy arms were a little silly. The Triassic Ranger thing was really cool with the whole like charge up and energy thing. Trent, but one of the characters basically goes, yeah, Trent goes to the same thing that Tommy did when he was Evil Green Ranger. There's a lot of great stuff. A lot of throwbacks to other seasons, a lot of things that just feel complete and like they had time to write this season out and let it breathe. Yeah, they had a lot of vehicles and extra stuff too. There were a lot of like toy sales from this season that worked actually well, and I was never mad about seeing anything. So, you know, I will take it. Dino Thunder was what got a lot of people into making their own OC Rangers. You think so? Huh. Maybe. One thing I'll say, and this goes with any Sentai with talking Zords, I wish Power Rangers used talking Zords. They technically did in Wild Force, it's just they spoke animal. You know? Oh my god. Did they talk in Abba Ranger? I don't know much. I'm not too Abba Ranger yet. The mutant powers are really good. Oh yeah, the super speed, invisibility, the thick skin, and the scream. Oh yeah. Oh, and whatever Trent's was. What was Trent's? What did he get? Which suit was updated, changed? Oh, so the Green Ranger suit in the flashback, which was like the fighting spirit or whatever, they added like a silver tip to it. And I don't think they meant to, or they just forgot to look back. And it's always like a moment in Power Rangers history that people look back at like, why did this happen? It's like the one faux pas about Dino Thunder, or the one negative. I will say, the only other negative that I will point out for Dino Thunder is, unless you've seen all of these other seasons, I think Dino Thunder is probably like the bottom of amazing or the top of great. But if you've seen every other season to this point, and you have context, and you know characters, and you know stories and plots and things like that, Dino Thunder is amazing. It is an ultimate culmination that leads to that point, very much in the similar vein that In Space was. I still think Time Force is better because it's easier to dive in for newcomers, because you really don't have to have seen other seasons for it to be good. But Dino Thunder is still a fantastic, amazing season, and I hope that everybody gets to watch it after seeing all these other seasons. Whew. I gotta take a breath after that one. I was just letting it fly, you know? Wow. Okay. So, next is Power Rangers SPD. This one I'm consistently struggling on. This one I am consistently struggling on. Because it's either the top of good or the bottom of great for me. It's either the top of good or the bottom of great for SPD. Because I've been looking back at SPD a lot recently. We've done a lot of like analysis videos. We watched a lot of Watch Mojo reaction type videos and things of that nature. And the more I look back at SPD, the more I'm like, man, maybe this season was better than I give it credit for. And I think I'm going to give it bottom of great. SPD's... All right, we're gonna talk about the struggles and then we'll talk about the big stuff. And the reason why I like to put SPD lower, SPD's biggest struggles are its action. The storytelling's really good. The characters are really good. The music's okay. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. The opening theme's okay. The mechas are cool. I like them. I like Kruger being like their mentor and then becoming a ranger. Did not like the Omega Ranger. I think it was a super cop-out to not have like a person. And they were like, oh, well, he came from the future, and if he demorphs, then he'll just stabilize. No, shut up. Like, that worked for Dino Thunder, because, like, he was stuck in the suit because Jason David Frank had to, like, call in his lines and things like that. No. You can't do that 2 seasons in a row. Absolutely not. There were 2 crossovers with Dino Thunder, which were, I'd say, good. I'd say good. SPD was my childhood, so bottom of great is, for me. I think that's fair. Because, like, my biggest complaints about SPD are literally, like, the action being not amazing. SPD was very much the season that we started the era of Kalish explosions, is usually what they're called to. I think it was one of the on-set producers or directors by the last name of Kalish. And we just used that as the time frame because it's when they took over. We started seeing a lot more explosions that didn't do anything. It was an explosion for the sake of having an explosion. So you see it a lot in SPD, like when they're on bikes. Bruce Kalish, there you go. And you see a lot more of the explosions, like in the backgrounds, and not really affecting people, you know? Oh, we're talking about SPD. SPD. And that was frustrating, because there's a lot of action scenes where I'm like, this is cool. Explosion happens in slow-mo for 10 seconds of nothing happening, of just people missing. And I'm like, that's, all right, this isn't cool anymore, never mind. That's my biggest complaint about SPD, and I think that will always be my biggest complaint. And I think it's a hugely valid complaint. Because action matters. How action is framed and how it is shot and how it looks matters. You cannot just rely on storytelling. You have to have good action as well. Dual wielding pistols, yeah. The dual wielding pistols was cool. Jack was a great Red Ranger. I love them. Sky was, I think, fantastic in terms of character development. Kruger was great as well. I wish the other three had a little bit more development. I did not like the Omega Ranger. I talked about that before. I thought it was a huge cop-out that we didn't get to see them demorph, and it made it hard to talk to them or to make them an actual character. You know what I mean? So, big miss on that one. But they made Kruger more of a Ranger's character in that sense, which was good. I think that's it for like the good though. Like, there's a lot of good in SPD. It's the storytelling. Anubis or Cat? Kruger. 100%. Doggy Kruger. Doggy Kruger. For sure. Who calls him Anubis? It's Kruger. Doggy Kruger. I ain't on a first name basis with that man. I'm on a nickname basis with that man. Doggy Kruger for sure. Cat's cool. I liked her. I thought she was a fun character. Hey, Ray, how you doing? I'm doing well. Welcome to the stream. We're doing Power Rangers tier list for 2022. That way we can be prepped for 2023, and that way if anybody asks me how I feel about certain seasons, I can be like, go see that video. I did it forever ago. Okay. That's it for SPD. I'm gonna take a swig. Perfect. It's Mystic Force time. Repro, are you still here? Repro, my boy! Repro, my boy! I know Repro loves Mystic Force. I can't wait to talk about Overdrive. Ooh, that's gonna be a doozy. Overdrive is gonna be a doozy to talk about. Let's talk about Mystic Force. So, Mystic Force. Mystic Force is an okay season. I would debate putting it here as well. I would debate putting it there as well. I think I'm gonna be mean. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be mean. I think I'm gonna be mean and put Mystic Force at okay tier. Hot take, but I like Mystic Force villains more than the Rangers. Bro, I can't remember the villain. I honestly, I cannot for the life of me remember the villain except for like the vampire lady and Korag. But like Korag is Lambo. So like that's cheating. Korag was dope. Korag was the GOAT. 100%. You're right. One more thing about Dino Thunder, I love that they poked fun of themselves by having an episode. Yes. They did Lost and Found in Translation, which was an episode where they watched an episode of Abba Ranger, which was really funny. So Mystic Force, Repro talked about this a little bit before he left earlier. The issue that I think everybody has with Mystic Force is Nick. He is very much a load-bearing character, where a lot of the storytelling is revolving and centralized around him. And either the actor can't or the writers can't make it work. There's a consistent dropping of the ball when it comes to Nick as the character, as the main focus character in Mystic Force. The rest of the cast is great. I honestly really enjoyed the rest of the cast in Mystic Force, especially Daggeron as the Solar Ranger, their 6th Ranger. I thought he was great. I especially like Xander. But they like never get time to shine because it's always the Nick show. You know what I mean? It is consistently always about Nick, and because of that, there are so many plot lines revolving around him that it gets boring. That being said, Mystic Force does have a lot of good things going for it. Unfortunately, there's no crossover with SPD, which I think is a wasted potential. I thought it would have been a nice dichotomy to add 2 more episodes to have a crossover episode of, you know, reinforcements on the future or something like that. But I think Mystic Force also does really well with some of its theming. It never forgets it's a show about magic. It is constantly reminding you that you live in a magic world. I think they actually acknowledge that they're in New Zealand, so like people can have accents and things like that and not have to worry about it. And the finale for Mystic Force is also really good, despite having issues with the rest of the season. Plus, we get a callback to Power Rangers in Space when Zordon is sacrificed and his beam of light and good energy kind of purifies the universe. And Rita becomes a good person. Rita becomes a good person in space and then shows up again in Mystic Force. So that being like, how many seasons is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 season like callback of Rita being the source of good magic in the universe after being purified by Zordon is a great callback, and it gives me a lot of, like, I give a lot of brownie points for it. I give a ton of brownie points for it. I think it's great. I think there's a lot of really good stuff about Mystic Force. I'm not a big fan of the mecha. I like how the mecha looks. I will say that much. However, I have never, and I will emphasize this, I do not enjoy the Rangers becoming the mecha. So like when they cast a spell to like become the mecha, I was like, no, thank you. And I'm not here for this, you know? Oh, the mid-season power-up was also really good for Mystic Force. I like that. I'll definitely say that was good too. Nick's Battleizer was also okay. Korag ending up being Lambo was predictable, but well handled. Udana finally getting her powers back towards the end was also great. You know, is that what the Zords look like, people? Yep, that's why. That is 100% why. So, yeah. Mystic Force was okay. It could have been better. I think they put too much emphasis on Nick. I think some of the storytelling could have been better if they focused on other characters. And I wasn't a huge fan of the mecha. And the music missed a lot of the time, too. But still fun season. Never forgot its theming of magic. I'm very tempted to put it here, but I'm gonna be harsh and give it an okay instead. It could have been much worse. Okay. I think I'm actually gonna drop this here to bad. I think it's gonna be our first bad season, Operation Overdrive. So I know a lot of you were waiting for like my take on Operation Overdrive. I saw a couple of you say it in chat, and the big thing with Operation Overdrive that really cements it as being, wasn't Ninja the first Rangers, or no, he just grew, you know? I feel hurt. It's a bad season. What do you mean you feel hurt? Objectively bad season. Like, what do you want me to say? You know? What do you want me to say? Mac is a robot? I could say that. I could absolutely say that. So Operation Overdrive struggles entirely with identity. It doesn't know if it wants to be a adventure season. It doesn't know if it wants to be a season about giving people opportunity. It doesn't know about maybe magic, maybe mysticism. Agree, despite my nostalgia for it. It's just a bad season. Also, Once a Ranger is definitely one of the worst team-ups in Power Rangers history, which is really unfortunate because the morph sequence is so hype. Adam comes back again, and I'm by it. Listen, Adam is my favorite Ranger of all time. Johnny Young Bosch, represent every day. He is my absolute favorite Ranger, and even that couldn't save it. Yeah, and Rita and Zed had a son who was evil? When did this happen? It's a huge plot hole. And like, why was he that old? Like, they didn't get married until MMPR season 2, which was what? Like 14, 13 years prior? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Worse than Legendary Battle? So the reason why Once a Ranger is so bad is because it makes the Operation Overdrive team look incredibly incompetent and bad. The Operation Overdrive team loses their powers, like fighting against Rita's son, and they just give up. Where so many other teams for it, like Mighty Morphin and Turbo and In Space, like they don't have powers. Ninja Storm, you know, Wild Force. There's so many scenes where like we might not have powers, but we're still Power Rangers, like type sentiment. They threw that out the window. They threw it out the window. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely absurd. Rita Zed's son most confusing. Honestly true. That's my big issue with Operation Overdrive is the Rangers are just unlikable. They're just genuinely, I just don't like them. Except for Mac. Mac is cool. The other part is like, God, I'm trying to think about how to phrase this. I think like the Mac reveal is like the only thing I genuinely liked about Operation Overdrive. It's so hard to find things that I actually enjoyed. Yeah. Okay. Oh, there's so many plot holes and things in Operation Overdrive that don't make sense. And unfortunately, it being the 15th anniversary is just, it's a mess. It's a mess. You know what I mean? It's just disgusting. And they should be ashamed. Because Bokenger, the Super Sentai, that is the source material for Operation Overdrive, Bokenger is very, very, very highly regarded. Like, Bokenger is super loved. People loved Bokenger. Like, so much so that it's come back a couple times. And it was one of the main mecha stay in Zenkaiger. You know? And they botched it. They botched it. So watching the Sentai version is devised. I've never seen it. But I've heard nothing but good things about Bokenger. I really want to watch it. Just replying to a message. Okay. I don't know. I don't think there's anything else I can really say about Operation Overdrive. Did not like the 6th Ranger either. I don't even remember what his name was. Was it Tazon? Tyzon? Could like melt into mercury? Was stupid. Should have just been the dad. Should have just been the dad. There was no reason for it not to be. Absolutely ridiculous. Should have just been the dad. They did not need to introduce another character. Yeah, Tyzon. They did not need to introduce another character. Could have just been the dad. It was dumb. Also bad. Just badly written. Not enjoyable. I hate it. And they call him the Mercury Ranger. No! That's the Silver Ranger. Boken Shiva. You know? Boken Shiva. I hate it when Power Rangers are like, no, that's not the Purple Ranger. That's the Wolf Ranger. No, that's not the Silver Ranger. That's the Mercury Ranger. Or like Mystic Force Snow Ranger, you know, or the Solar. It's like, no, that's not the Solar Ranger. It's the Gold Ranger. Like, what? Yeah, they call them the Mercury Ranger, not Overdrive Silver. It drives me insane. These are all facts. I've learned my lesson. There you go. We educated another one on not liking Operation. Listen, at the end of the day, regardless, I will joke and I will jest and I will ha ha he he and hoo hoo all my way into saying that there are certain seasons you should like and certain seasons you shouldn't. At the end of the day, it's just my opinion, man. If you like Operation Overdrive, more power to you. The fact that you like Power Rangers gives us something to talk about. And I love that. Regardless of whether I think Operation Overdrive is trash and you think it's amazing, it don't matter. I just think Operation Overdrive is bad. I gave my reasoning to it, but my opinions should not stop you from... Did you say the theme song was fire? What? Wait, hold on. I'm trying hard. I'm trying to be wholesome. I'm trying to be wholesome right now. I'm trying really hard. The theme song was fire because you should have set it on fire. Theme song was fire because you want to set it on fire after throwing it into the dumpster. Oh. My God. No, it don't. Listen, no, it don't. The Overdrive rap is garbage. What? Nandato. What? I can't believe it. I can't believe this. We're moving on. I'm about to get mean. I don't want to get mean. Oh my God. Oh my God, I hate. Okay. We're gonna move on to a really good season. It is Jungle Fury. Okay. I think we pissed them off. No, I'm good. Listen. Tranquillo. They did use all the theme songs. They did, in fact, use all the theme songs. Which I think was dope, except for Mighty Morphin. They didn't use that one. Looked up Overdrive's opening math. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, let's talk about Jungle Fury. I want to talk about Jungle Fury. Yes, chef's kiss. Mwah! Absolutely. Absolutely. Jungle Fury, yeah, I remember watching it when they first started on Jetix. There you go. Back in the Disney era, because we're still in the Disney era. And this was based on the Super Sentai, I think it was Juken Sentai? Juken Sentai Geki Ranger, which is very martial arts inspired, which is dope. And Geki Ranger, I heard, was pretty well received. Jungle Fury, I think, is one of the most sleeper hit seasons, like, ever in the history of Power Rangers. It is 100%. I actually think I might do that. I'm debating it. I'm debating it. Do I like Cam or RJ more? I would swap these in a heartbeat. Like if someone showed me this or if they showed me this, they'd be right. Either way. Jungle Fury does another great thing that Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder both do, which is the core 3 Rangers. They get to work on their interpersonal relationships and how they interact with one another, and that they are, it's actually very similar to Ninja Storm. We have like an entire school of trained warriors get captured by like an ancient evil, and then the 3 left are like 3 unlikely heroes. Well, I guess Casey was the kind of unlikely hero, but you know. Do you think it would be cool if they had a male character be the Pink Ranger? Yes. Yes, Dawn Brothers has a male Pink Ranger, and so does the comics. So if we ever get the Dawn Brothers, which I don't think Power Rangers would adapt that, then yes. I hope we get a male Pink Ranger soon. I really, really hope we get a male Pink Ranger. David Yost coming back as the male Pink Ranger would be pog. I think so. I'm just saying. Just saying. Good fight scene. Love the Mentor and the Spirit Rangers. 10 out of 10. Yes. So Jungle Fury had great fight choreography, great characters. RJ as not only the 4th Ranger, the Purple Ranger, aka Wolf Ranger, and mentor character. RJ is easily one of the best mentor characters ever in the history of Power Rangers, period. If anybody fights me on that, you're just wrong. You're wrong. If you don't think RJ is a top tier mentor character, you are factually incorrect. Also, Jungle Fury's theme, pretty good. Had some good rock, had some good rhythms, had some good beats. Amazing mid-season power-up. Jungle Master Mode slaps. Jungle Master Mode, so freaking cool looking. I love the jets. I love the claw. I love the white stripes. It's so good. Jungle Fury does so many things well. The only thing that I think stops it from being amazing is I don't particularly love the Rhino Ranger, aka the White Ranger, or Geki Choppa, as he is in the Super Sentai. I don't love him. I don't love his relationship and his characters with the other, his relationship with the other characters. Jared, I think, hard carries all of the villains, as well as, is her name Camille? I think it's Camille. Roy the Pink VTuber Ranger. I'll do it. I'll do it in a heartbeat. Heartbeat. I am the Pink Ranger. Morphin time. The other thing is, yeah, I think the other villains were kind of just lacking. I think RJ, I'm sorry, I think Jared and Camille are hard carries for the villain team. And I think the Jungle Fury Rhino Ranger was not amazing. Other than that, I think Jungle Fury is an amazing season. It's another one of those rare seasons. It does not have a crossover episode like Ninja Storm, like Mystic Force, where and like Time Force. I highly recommend Jungle Fury as a season that you can just jump into. Jungle Fury is 100% because it has no crossover episodes. They don't make references to any other Ranger team except for just like, hey, these are Rangers type thing. Jungle Fury is a perfect season to dive into. If you've never seen Power Rangers before and you're just looking for a fun time, a good story, good characters, good growth, things like that, Jungle Fury is mwah, and definitely needs more love. Please watch Jungle Fury if you have not already. Please do it. Josiah, hello. Welcome in. Okay. Then I get to RPM. You know what's really unfortunate about this? The worst season up until this point was made by Disney. Two of the best seasons up until this point were also made by Disney. Like, just hit better. Hit diffy. Come on, man. Like, Disney, please. So Disney ran into the same issue with RPM that they ran into within Space. They were told, hey, listen, this is your last season. Go all out. Have fun and everything. The difference is that the show writers and the show runners came up with a plot for RPM before seeing the source material. They were just told that it was about vehicles. So they were like, we're going to make it like, we're going to make it like Mad Max and Terminator, post-apocalyptic, world-ending events, dark, with character growth and development and things of that nature. And they did it. It was dark, but the Ranger suits are so brightly colored, and man, that shit was wild, dude. That shit was wild. The Zords with the googly eyes, yeah, the funny race cars with eyes. RPM is hilarious because it was a perfect storm that should have never existed. RPM should not have been as good as it was. There's no logical explanation as to why RPM was so good. It just hit diffy. Cast, fantastic. Storytelling, fantastic. Villains, they were okay. I think Vengeance could have been a little bit more menacing because he made some stupid plays every once in a while. And Ranger Dylan's sister, whose name I always forget. I was gonna say Ranger Black. But Dylan's sister, I think could have been a little bit better too. But really good stuff. Genuinely a fantastic season. Also doesn't have a crossover episode, so probably is the perfect, because it is amazing, has no crossover episode, so you can watch RPM and not have an issue. Tanaya 7, thank you. Red's the perfect one, black's the brooding one, green's the clown, yellow, well, she's the girl. I'm Scottish. Oh my god. And there's the twins. And Dr. K is easily one of the best written characters in all of Power Rangers history. The whole story was that she created the Vengeance virus so she could escape Alphabet Soup, and then that she couldn't put in the failsafe to prevent the virus from spreading into the world, and then she couldn't do that, so it destroyed the world. There's so much weight and guilt behind that, and it's handled super well. And then Gem and Gemma are also fantastic characters, and they play a really nice, I don't want to say foil, but antithesis of what Dr. K is, while also being completely their own thing, being bright and bubbly and cheerful, but also being super smart, but super dumb at the same time. Gem and Gemma were absolutely fantastic characters. Dr. K, absolutely fantastic character. Whole season was just wild. I'm trying to think of anything that I would say is bad. I'd probably say the negative of RPM and the negatives, maybe pacing. Some things feel like they happen really fast and some things happen really, really slow. But the other problem is I really, really dislike multiverse stuff with Power Rangers, because RPM is the first time we have a show that is set in a different universe, and it's just it just makes things messy, and they still haven't fixed it. And I am praying to the Morphin Masters that in Power Rangers Cosmic Fury we have some sort of cosmic phenomenon that unites all the universes and sets up like Shattered Grid or something. Do you know how insane that would be? If we reboot the Power Rangers franchise into Shattered Grid, I would shit my pants. I would shit my pants live on stream. Oh my goodness gracious. The perfect cross-section of what having hyper-specific knowledge is like. Yes, 100%. Gem and Gemma are. But yeah, RPM is fantastic. If you've not seen any Power Ranger season and you're looking to dive into something, watch RPM. My biggest negative is that it's set in a separate universe, which can be a good thing if you don't want to watch other seasons. It could be a bad thing if you're trying to tie it over into other ones. But RPM is fantastic. Absolutely deserves to be in top 5. Absolutely. Remind you what Shattered Grid is about. So Shattered Grid is a comic storyline where it is a what if scenario if Tommy, instead of being saved by the other Rangers when he was the Green Ranger, instead actually defeats the Rangers and helps Rita take over Earth, double crosses Rita, and then rules the Earth as his own thing and just stays evil and defeats everybody. And then realizes that there's a Power Rangers multiverse and starts hopping dimensions and stealing other Rangers' powers. And it's this whole big multiversal war. And it's insane. I have not finished reading it, but from what I did read, man. Yeah, it betrays both sides. It is like peak Power Rangers writing. Not just comics, just everything. Yep, and that's where Lord Draken comes from. Because it's Tommy, but he is so far gone. You know? If they reboot the Power Rangers universe and then tell Shattered Grid, I would shit my pants live. Oh my goodness. Okay. Next is Power Ranger Samurai. This is the start of the Neo Saban era. I don't think Samurai is bad. I really don't. I think the first season of Samurai is genuinely watchable. I think there are good parts about it. I think there are enjoyable parts about it. I don't think it's the worst. I don't think it's the best. I think it struggles a lot with identity and treating the audience like they're really young, which is really unfortunate because it's a trend that we saw for the next couple seasons and couple years. Also, I don't think Samurai should have been adapted. I'm gonna be firm. I'm gonna be serious. I'm gonna be 100. I'm gonna be absolutely 100. Samurai shouldn't have been adapted. Ninja Storm, I'm okay with. Like, ninjas, we can do that. American ninjas, sure, totally fine. Samurai is such a Japanese concept. Like the art of Bushido and Shogun Lords and how that time era worked and family lineage and things like that. It makes so much more sense in a Japanese culture standing. But like, Samurai just couldn't capture it. It felt really weird. It felt really weird a lot of the times. They were writing kanji for power symbols and it just looked weird, you know, because they never spoke Japanese. They never talked about Japan much. It was just always like they were just using it, and it felt weird to me. I thought it was I thought it was bold to even use it, and they didn't handle it super well. Yeah, I agree. I will say there are really good parts about Samurai though, and Repro, what Repro is saying is totally true. Antonio is actually a very, very fun 6th Ranger. Samurai Gold, super fun Ranger, super entertaining, super love the actor. But oh, and Decker was also a fantastic villain, and his relationship with Jaden and all the fights that they had, you know. But Samurai, and then even more so, and I'm gonna, this is where I get like, it gets weird because then I'm separating them. I think Super Samurai was worse than the first season, and it's because like they basically redid Samurai, but worse. You know, the Bulk and Skull reunion was good. I love that. I will say that's one of my favorite things. It's a shame about Bulk, but Skull ended up opening a construction company. Skull ended up opening a construction company that goes into towns that fixes up damage that like monsters cause and like the ranger fights cause. And it's like 5-head infinity head play. Yes, Decker's actor, who also played Cole in Wild Force, did get arrested for stabbing his roommate with a sword from the set of Samurai. There's extenuating circumstances that make that case difficult to articulate my opinions on. I would look it up if you can. I'd prefer not to talk about it too much because I think it's a little bit of a hot topic, but it's more complicated than just, hey, he stabbed a dude and killed him. It's more complicated than that. More complicated than that. But there have been a lot of like weird cases of like people being arrested across Power Rangers across the years. But you know, regardless, Samurai better than Super Samurai. Super Samurai was a bad rehash of Samurai. And the big thing that I didn't like about either season is that they treated its audience like they were literal children rather than just being for children, which is something that I think Time Force, Dino Thunder, RPM, In Space, like the greats and the amazing seasons, they handle that balance really well. Where it's, yes, this is a kid show, but you're not talking to the audience like they're stupid. You're still giving me a good story regardless of my age. And that's a big deal. Okay. Any Megaforcers in chat? Any Megaforcers in chat? All right. No? Okay. I've got a weird take. I have a weird take. I only actually think Megaforce, specifically Megaforce. I only think regular Megaforce is meh. And I mean like the bottom of meh. It does the same exact thing that Samurai and Super Samurai do, where it's treating the audience like they're stupid and like they're too much that they are children. And Gosei was not a great mentor and gave out power-ups and upgrades like they were candy and like it was going out of style. But Megaforce, I felt something. I felt like, I don't know why. I really did feel like there was potential for this season. Yeah, Robo Knight wasn't terrible. I like Gia and I like Noah. What's his name? What's the Red Ranger's name? Troy? Oh, Troy was bad. His writing. I don't think it was the actor. I think honestly the actor did what he could based on what we've seen with the rest of the Neo Saban era. Looking back at all of Neo Saban, I'm gonna say it was the people that directed him. I'm 100% gonna say it was the people that directed him. I firmly believe that actor could have done better. I think he could have. I think they just didn't bring it out of him, which is a shame. It was not just bad, but horrible. I think it was the writing. I think it was the writing for the character, and I think it was the writing. Honestly, I think is what made Megaforce bad. And it felt like Megaforce could have gotten better, but unfortunately, it was also very rushed because they had to tell the entire story, and I mean the entire story of Goseiger in 20 episodes. That's a 50-episode Super Sentai series. Goseiger being the Super Sentai counterpart. Tenso Sentai? I think so. Tenso Sentai Goseiger, which was angel themed. They had to tell that entire story in 20 episodes, which didn't work. It was rushed. It was rough. It didn't function properly. It was ugly. Oof. The worst part of it, and this is where Super Megaforce comes into play. This is the worst part. So obviously everyone knows that Super Megaforce is bad. Everyone knows that Legendary Battle is a joke. Everyone knows that everything involving Super Megaforce is just an insult to what Kaizoku Sentai Gokaiger is. I've never seen Gokaiger. I've just seen clips and footage of the characters and the personalities and the respect that they pay to these franchises. And like, for a season, and Super Megaforce is this season, we're a season that is paying homage as the 25th anniversary season. Wait, was it 25th or was it 20th? What was the 20th anniversary season? Did we have a 20th anniversary season? It was it would have been 2008. Operation Overdrive? Was that 20th? Megaforce is 20th? Is it? What was 25th? Oh, Ninja Steel. Ninja Steel was 25. Thank you. I always forget. Having Super Megaforce as the 20th anniversary season that's supposed to pay homage to the rest of the Power Rangers franchise, and they only had 3 repeat appearances of like previous actors from the entire season. I think, actually, was it only 2? I know Jaden from Samurai shows up, which is like, obviously. And they have Casey from, what's it called? Jungle Fury. They had 10 actors show up. Well, no, I'm just talking about throughout the season. Not for Legendary Battle, just throughout the season. Oh, Mike and Emily showed up as well? From Samurai? Did they? Weird. I don't remember that. It has been a while since I've seen Super Megaforce. But regardless, a season that was supposed to be about celebrating the previous 20 years of Power Rangers, they sure as hell messed up a lot. There's so many continuity issues with this, with the Rangers that show up. There's a lot of issues with like, okay, well, what happened to XYZ's powers? Suit mishaps like the Titanium Ranger. Just, it was a mess. The plot didn't work. I wasn't a super fan of Super Mega Silver. Didn't love it. They cheaped out so bad on getting old actors back. Yep, 100%. I feel like they could have done it way better. Even for how poor Megaforce was, I feel like this could have at worst been this. At worst, I think Super Megaforce had potential, and that's what pisses me off the most. Yes, and the Sentai suits. This is a perfect example. We were talking about not using source material. They should not have adapted Samurai. But there were episodes in Super Megaforce that they just shouldn't have used because we never saw these suits. And instead of like coming up with a story for them, they were like, bring on the new powers. What powers? Where did these come from? Who are you? You know what I mean? Man, it was rough. It was rough. But for all the discussion around how bad Troy was, the Legendary Battle, etc., no one talks about the villains because holy snore. The villains are so unremarkably bad. Like, at least with Samurai, I was able to say, like, Decker is a banger of a villain, and Decker's wife. Banger villains. Great storyline with them. You know? What is it with Power Rangers making their Silver Rangers alien? But hold on a second. We had Zane. Gem, right? I'm sorry, Gemma. She's not alien, but I guess she was technically from another universe. He's not an alien. Wild Force Silver. It did do it a lot, though. It did do it a lot. Because Operation Overdrive did and Samurai, or Megaforce did. They inverted from Gokaiger 2, the Kazuko team is all aliens except for Gokai Silver, who's a Mega Weave for Super Sentai. Yes, I remember that. I wish they did something fun like that. But yeah, Super Megaforce, it was a super mega flop. Everyone's talked about it before. It is a gross mishandling of what should have been a celebration of Power Rangers and completely misses the ball in every direction. And aside from one other season, is what I believe to be the lowest point of the franchise. There's only one other season that I think is worse than Super Megaforce, which I think is the hottest take that I have, that Super Megaforce is not the worst. But we're going to talk about something that's actually good. This is the diamond in the rough that is the Neo Saban era. You know? Whew. That's Dino Charge. I actually thought Kazuko team was just human space pirates. I mean, they're human, but like, not from Earth, if that made sense. Yeah. Give Rocky the unused Thunder. Red Thunder suit? That would have been dope. That actually would have been dope. I've been having a lot of fun watching Dino Charge. Dino Charge, like, should not have been as good as it was. There's no reason why this season popped off the way it did. I firmly believe it was the cast. I 100% believe the cast made Dino Charge good. I'm gonna say it. I think so many of the actors dumped their hearts and souls into making Dino Charge something good after the embarrassment that was Super Megaforce, that we actually got something really good. It wasn't great and it wasn't amazing. It could have been way better, but Dino Charge was actually fun and good. The only issues I have with it is it's still a Neo Saban show, so they still kind of treat its audience like they're stupid, you know? I don't know how they serious down a dancing carnival themed dinosaur Sentai. Yeah, right? Yeah, because the henshin from Kyoryuger, right? Yeah, Kyoryuger was like, they do the mamba while they're morphing, which is really funny. If you haven't seen it already, go ahead and look it up on Google or on YouTube or something. Yes, and the Dino Charge theme was like, oh, we didn't even talk about themes. The Samurai and Megaforce themes are garbage. Some of the worst renditions of Go-Go Power Rangers I've ever heard in the history of the life. Dino Charge is like one of the best. They were like, you know what? We want to use Go-Go Power Rangers again, but we want it to be like our own thing. And Dino Charge nails it. Absolutely nails it. Dino Charge is a lot of fun. Good season. Would recommend. Would definitely. Please see it. Okay. The unfortunate side of Dino Charge is Dino Supercharge, which I would also debate putting it here, but I'm feeling generous to Dino Charge because we just talked it up a lot. Dino Supercharge. First of all, it should have been Super Dino Charge. I'm sorry. Like, what is this? Super Megaforce, Super Ninja Steel, Super Samurai, Dino Supercharge. No. Super Dino Charge. What the hell? First big gripe. Second big gripe. The characters that they brought in sometimes did not work well. Heckle being a big villain part of Dino Charge and into Dino Supercharge. I think Heckle and Snide were like two of the best characters that they could have had, and they felt like wasted potential, especially for Heckle, because they set him up so much. And Zenowing. Was like, oh, should have been just so much better. It just should have been so much better. It was frustrating. It was frustrating. They set themselves up for like so much success and then tripped hard like 10 episodes in. They were like, wait, how do we write this? And they rushed it. You know, the old guy's the Violet Ranger. I love that stuff. I was actually totally fine with that, you know? Super Samurai made sense as a split because of the Battleizer mode came across the whole cast. Then Gokaiger suits were not an upgrade to the Ghost Ager suits. Yeah, not at all. Should have emphasized it was 10 Rangers better instead of Super. Yep. The old Kyoryuger Carnival Dino Supercharge should have done it better. Yeah, it just dropped everything. Everything that Dino Charge set up should have just been expanded upon in Dino Supercharge, and it felt like it didn't. They dropped the ball in characters. They dropped the ball in villains, with Sledge not being the villain for a while. And Ramirez should have come back as Dino Charge Cyan. 100%. Ramirez should have come back because he offered to come back from the Sentai counterpart. It's literally a super English speaking white man in Japan played a character in Super Sentai. It's dope. Absolutely dope. Yeah, it is a fact. He talked about it in an interview later. He offered to come back. He was like, "Can I please come back and play this character?" And they said no. I was so mad. I was so freaking mad. It was an easy slam dunk. It was an easy slam dunk. The other huge issue that I have with Dino Supercharge is the finale. In the same sense that I dock RPM a lot of points, they split off another universe. So now there's 3 main universes when it comes to Power Rangers. So in Dino Supercharge, they go back in time and prevent the the dinosaurs from going extinct. For no reason. For no reason. It's so dumb. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Really bad. It's so dumb. Please stop. I pray to the Morphin Master Gods that whatever we get for Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, that they combine the multiverses and just put it all into the main universe. RPM universe didn't happen. It's now you're with us. Everything's fine now. Dino Supercharged? Sorry, dinosaurs are gone again. My bad. You know? I hate it. I hate it. Dumbest moment in PR, it's really bad. It's just so unnecessary. It does not do anything that it needs to do. You know what I mean? Okay. Let's continue. Power Rangers is popular enough to get retranslation into Japanese, oddly enough. Yes, I heard SPD's Japanese translation is really strong, which is kind of funny. Kind of funny. All right, next is Ninja Steel, which I think is, I'm going to say, better than Megaforce, but worse than the other ones in meh. Ninja Steel felt like a season that shouldn't have been adapted. Where like Ninja Storm, I was okay with it because of how they played up the level of ninja. And it never felt like it was like, these are ninjas that are in Japan and pulling from like ancestry and things like that. But Ninja Steel felt like it was. And they were like, here's the greatest ninja of all time. Some white dude from Milwaukee. You know what I mean? Like, it just felt weird. There were a lot of things in Ninja Steel I wasn't particularly a fan of. It felt like they kind of copied what Dino Charge was doing with its villains. Not in a bad way, but it was Yeah, Ming came from space. There's a lot of missteps from Ninja Steel. There was some charm. What's his name? Not Boom. What was his name? Mick. Mick is a supporting character, and the actor that plays Mick, who was also in SPD as Boom, freaking love him. Mick is definitely a highlight of Ninja Steel. I think he's a fantastic character, acts really well, plays the character really well of Mick well, ends up becoming a Red Ranger in the finale of Ninja Steel because there's 3 Red Rangers as there is in, is it Shuriken Sentai Ninja? I think is what it is. I've heard not so great things about Ninja though. I've heard it was kind of a mess anyway, but I don't think Ninja should have been adapted. I'm gonna be 100% real. It felt like Samurai in the sense of like, this is just a season that feels very rooted in Japanese culture and just should have not been. Was Ninja Steel with the Gladiator game similar to Zeo? I mean, not similar to Zeo, but if you want to make that reference, yeah, you could say that. Very much so. It was like they put the Rangers essentially on a game show. And they treated it like that for everyone else to watch, where they constantly tried to destroy the Earth, and they were like, hey, surprise. Yeah, and they switched out the Burger Morpher. Man. It felt like too much of a Japanese season that just shouldn't have been adapted. It felt like very poorly adapted. So I have no thoughts. It was rough. They also introduced the Gold Ranger, like their 6th Ranger, like 6 episodes into Ninja Steel. It's really early, like really early. Big shame too, because I liked some of the what's it called? Some of the actors they had for the Rangers. Yeah, Levi Weston. Yeah, it was really early. I remember. I could be wrong on that. I could just be misremembering. I thought it was really early. Like introduce the character, and then I think like by episode 10, he was the Gold Ranger. You know. Introduce him early in Ninja as well, so at least it's normal. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Ninja Steel, I don't really think it had potential. I think they shot themselves in the foot at the starting line. I don't think this is good source material to adapt. I think they probably would have been better off adapting what's it called? Goldbusters, honestly. Or Tokuger, genuinely. Which feels weird, but you know. It's just, you know, Ninja Gold was from America. Yeah, he had the cowboy hat. He had the hamburger Morpher. Yeah, it was the same thing they did with Kaku Ranger, where they had an American ninja who really only spoke English, and he spoke kind of broken Japanese, which is really funny. But he shows up on rollerblades, a 6-shooter, and a cowboy hat, which is really funny. This is where we get to the hot take. So this is my hot take. And it's a weird hot take. It is a weird hot take. I'm going to talk about the one thing that I genuinely really liked about Super Ninja Steel. and then I'm immediately going to talk about something negative from it. A dry shout out to the boy, only person to don a suit in Sentai, Kamen Rider, and Ultraman. Wait, who is he in Kamen Rider? I'll have to look at him. I'll have to look that up later. Regardless, Super Ninja Steel rehashes everything that Ninja Steel did, but worse. But worse. Also did not have a team up, oddly enough. Did anything else have a team up? I guess technically Megaforce had their team up. Samurai didn't have a team up. Dino Charge did not have a team up. Damn. Oh, Samurai had the team up with RPM. We don't talk about that. But okay, so the best thing from Super Ninja Steel was the 25th anniversary team up episode, Dimensions in Danger, which was one episode. We need to stop doing that. Team ups need to be 2 episodes at minimum, so you can give every character time to shine. And trust me, they're gonna be worth it. Koda was in Super Ninja Steel. Oh, well, yeah, at one point, right, they did have the two Blue Ranger scene. I remember that. Didn't they have it where the original actor, Red Ranger, showed up? That's in Beast Morphers. That's in Beast Morphers. Super Ninja Steel is the 25th anniversary season, did a one episode special where they brought in a ton of veteran Rangers. And the variety of the veteran Rangers they had was actually really good. These were genuinely Rangers I thought were great picks. I thought they were fantastic picks. We had Koda from Dino Charge. We had Wes from Time Force. We had Gemma from RPM. We had Tommy from MMPR. We had Rocky from MMPR Season 2. We had Kat from Zeo and Turbo, and technically MMPR Season 3. We had Trent from Dino Thunder. We had TJ from In Space. You know, I'm probably missing 1 or 2, and I apologize for that. Oh, Antonio from Samurai. There were so many great Rangers, and like none of them really got time to shine except for Tommy. And Tommy's thing is still, it makes me emotional talking about it, because I think we briefly talked about it in a video that I recorded previously that will be edited down into content for another time. But obviously we talked about Jason David Frank, the actor for Tommy, passing within the past month or so. And one of the things that I came to realizing when we were talking about Tommy's best moments was the fight scene that he had in Super Ninja Steel when he's using the Master Morpher. And he goes from Dino Thunder Black to Zeo Red to MMPR White to MMPR Green. And then the end of the episode goes MMPR White again and summons the Falcon Zord. And it is such an emotional trip down memory lane, and watching Tommy fight again as all of these suits, and knowing now that it's his last appearance in the Power Rangers franchise, and knowing how good it was. I haven't heard a single person talk negatively of that scene. It doesn't matter if it was goofy, it doesn't matter if it was overacted, it was hype. Well, Tommy's power, the turbo power is transferred. They transferred to TJ and that team. So they're kind of just, you know, that's them, you know? Yeah, when he fought the Tommy android. Knowing that that's his last performance and knowing that everyone loved it so dearly makes me very warm and excited and happy that the last time that we got to see him in Power Rangers was a good time. And that it wasn't Super Megaforce, you know? Read Soul the Dragon, I think I actually own it. But the thing is, the thing where Super Ninja Steel and that crossover episode specifically struggle a lot, they literally what the villain was trying to do was to shatter the barrier between dimensions and pull them all together into one. Which is something I've been complaining about since RPM and Dino Supercharge. And I was like, oh wow, they wrote themselves a MacGuffin that they can fix this issue and bring all the Power Rangers universes together. And they didn't. They stopped it from happening. And I was so angry. I remember like getting up and like slapping something. Yeah, all power into the 3 arrows. It was frustrating as hell because they wrote themselves an out and they didn't take it. And it's frustrating. That combined with the other missteps that Super Ninja Steel has, which is a breakup that happens for no reason between two characters that were together since the first episode of Ninja Steel, a really, really, really bad finale. The finale felt super undeserved. There's literally one point where they're fighting like the end-all be-all. They are fighting them and losing. They morph to fight and then immediately go, you know what, guys, let's retreat. We'll come back later. And they do, and the bad guy watches them leave. The big end-all be-all bad guy watches the Rangers run away and then goes, huh, where'd they go? Tricky ninjas. Like that kind of statement. And I'm like, bro, are you serious right now? Like, never have I seen a season fumble its finale that hard. Never. It was bad. Oh, I just don't get it. I just didn't get it. It didn't make sense. It didn't work. Super Ninja Steel, I think, is one of the worst seasons, if not the worst season of Power Rangers, because of just how mid everything hits. It was very disappointing, very frustrating season finale. No, they didn't use smoke bombs. They just walked away. You know, they more of you said, oh, wow, they're too tough. We gotta leave. I was so pissed off. I'm sure you can go find this episode on Netflix too. Even without context, you'll be like, wow, that was really dumb. So yeah, for that reason, I think Super Ninja Steel is actually worse than Super Megaforce. I think Super Megaforce is like offensive, but like Super Ninja Steel is like super offensive to like an audience, like attention span and like intelligence level. If you're the big bad of the story, check to the ophthalmologist. No, not the glasses. All right, let's get back into some good stuff. Beast Morphers, oddly enough, even though you see Saban's name on it, is the first season that Hasbro took over the brand back from Saban. You can see the logo is gone as well for Power Rangers Dino Fury, but Beast Morphers, I'm gonna give a solid good. I'm gonna give a solid good. Give a solid good. A little bit better than Zeo. Beast Morphers was a very fun season with a lot of fun villains, a lot of fun ideas. I very much like Nate and Steel as characters. It felt like they bantered well off of each other. The Beast bots I thought were a lot of fun too, and it was nice to get them to kind of interact with the Rangers normally and things of that nature. But like, it's so weird because like I usually just talk up Beast Morphers and being good, but like they had such a negative, like there wasn't any seasons except for Dino Charge and Super Dino Charge that were above meh. So they had all these seasons to kind of like come back, because it's very much like the same writing team and everything. So they had to like still work with not greatness, unfortunately, which is really unfortunate. I know, at least from what Simon Bennett has said, because he's been very open about the filming process with Beast Morphers. They talked about restrictions that they had for writing and running the show, and that Saban had essentially left Hasbro a playbook with their contract with Nick that they had to follow certain aspects. You know? They had to follow certain formulas and how they treated storylines and how they reacted to the audience and how all these sorts of things happened. And it hit hard. And Simon Bennett has actively said recently, who is the current like director for Power Rangers, he has said multiple times, if they could do anything differently, they would go back and redo Beast Morphers. He already wants to redo Beast Morphers. And it's only been like 4 years. I think Beast Morphers started in 2018, 2019. You know? Don't remember Hasbro dropped at the end of the Super when it's out on Netflix. Yeah, so there's no Super anymore. It's not Super Beast Morphers and not Super Dino Fury. You know? This was the season when they said it's Morphin time in Go Busters. It's true. And Go Busters was the Super Sentai material, but it was actually before Kyoryuger and Ninja Steel, but after Super Megaforce. So it's weird that they went back, but also good because a lot of people wanted these. First leather suits ever for Power Rangers. Also super pog. Beast Morphers was a step back in the right direction, and a really good step back in the right direction. but it wasn't a leap, it was a step. So I will say Beast Morphers Season 1, good step back in the right direction. Also, I'm gonna do this to piss off Jojo. Jojo, if you're watching this, I was looking at it. I was thinking about it. And then the good thing with Beast Morphers Season 2, I'd probably put it on par with Season 1. I'm gonna be real, probably gonna put it on par with Season 1. Beast Morphers Season 2, I think was a lot of fun. I think they did some things better than the first season. I think they did some things worse than the first season. With Roxy and... what was his name? Damn, I can't remember what his name was. What the other guy's name was. Roxy and... It was like Dash or like... Kai or something. Blaze, thank you. I knew it was like a not common name. Roxy and Blaze were a really fun villain duo, and then when they got like their human forms back, they just didn't do anything. They felt super underutilized. Beast Morphers as a season just didn't know what to do with them and other characters, and I'm gonna guarantee you it's because of the Saban interference from transitioning from Saban into Hasbro. And I think that's probably where Simon Bennett is talking. That he's like, they knew they had to like write this into a certain direction, but they couldn't use Roxy and Blaze in the ways that they wanted. The one thing that I am super happy about is a decade in the making. RPM's finale, we see the Vengix virus hide itself in the RPM Rangers Morphers to like live and hide, and then becomes the main villain in Beast Morphers. The Beast Morphers villain, who is not Vengix, but Evox, is actually Vengix from RPM's universe. And I think it's like the biggest payoff that we've ever had in Power Rangers hit. And even though like I don't think Beast Morphers Season 2 was great or amazing, having that payoff, even though fans saw it coming from a mile away, having it confirmed felt amazing. Absolutely amazing. I was very happy about that. Hey Abby, welcome in. I kind of wish Roxy and Blaze had a moment where they needed to step up as red and yellow properly, but after dealing with it, they said, yeah, no, we're better. You were the better choice all along. Yeah, like, I wanted them to have an opportunity, or to just be new Rangers and then to do original Rangers again. I was really hoping that they would get the chance to do that, because I just feel like it would have been better. I feel like they had the opportunity to, and they just dropped the ball. But again, I'm gonna say, just because of the interviews that Simon Bennett has had now, I'm gonna point the finger at Saban in getting in the way and really screwing over Hasbro in their acquisition of Power Rangers, because I know Saban renewed their contract with Nickelodeon and made it so Hasbro couldn't go to Netflix even though they knew they wanted to. I know there was some bad blood. Yeah, there was some bad blood between Saban and Hasbro during that transition, which is, oh my God. All right, so now we're coming into the end of it, and kind of where Hasbro finally started figuring stuff out. Dino Fury Season 1, I'm gonna be a little bit harsh here. Oh, thoughts on the Power Rangers tabletop game? Do you mean the one that they played in Hyperforce? Or do you mean like the actual tabletop game? I've not played the actual tabletop game. In Hyperforce, I have a hard time watching because I know they're giving it their all, but the DM, like the game master, the dungeon master for Hyperforce, they needed to stand up against the cast more and just say, no, you can't do this. There needed to be some more structure to the game, and I was getting frustrated a couple episodes in. But I've not played the other tabletop game. That is fair. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, Dino Fury Season 1, I think was still marred in the relationship between Saban and Beast Morphers. We know this because it was still on Nickelodeon, and after like 6 episodes, they had to take like a 2 or 3 month hiatus. It was ridiculous, and the episodes ended up airing in other countries first, fully translated in English and everything. It's ridiculous, like how Dino Fury and Beast Morphers were handled with Nickelodeon, and the terrible watch times, which I think were like 7 or 8 a.m. Saturdays, and especially like taking the huge hiatuses that didn't make sense while it aired in other countries. It marred the viewership down terribly and really screwed over Hasbro as a company. That being said, I think the first half of Dino Fury was a little rough. I think they were I think they were kind of working towards something, and it felt like they were getting there, but there was a lot of awkwardness, a lot of growing pains, I think, as the transition finally happened between Saban to Hasbro, and when Hasbro finally got their legs down, their feet ready, and they finally entered the race. Now not having to deal with Saban at all, and you can even see in the logo, Saban's name is no longer on the logo. Hasbro is in full control of the Power Rangers franchise now. Which brings, what was Dino Fury about besides, you know, dinosaurs? Knights. They were supposed to be knight themed. Dinosaur knights. Like medieval knights. Which I think they actually handled that theme okay, because they ended up being aliens from another planet that were a group of knights and brought the powers with them. So that was kind of the idea. The Super Sentai season was Kishi Ryu Sentai Ryu Soldier, and they were knight themed there as well, I believe. But I've never seen it, so. I also know Ryu Soldier was a little bit more lighthearted at some points and had some almost Mamba style morphs as well, like Dino, or like Kyoryuger did. Once again, it's always aliens, something like that. So, yeah, Dino Fury Season 1 seemed like they were still trying to get their feet wet. They were trying to figure things out. There was some good storytelling, and I liked the finale. And I liked the characters that they built up, and I liked some of the relationships, especially between Ollie and Amelia. I think they're super fun. I like that we got our first LGBTQIA plus Ranger in canon. It's great. I really like Javi as a character. I wish his relationship with his dad was handled better, because it kind of felt like, oh, they're just friends now. They're okay. Nah, Chief. I don't think it should have been that easy. I will say, I did not love Zato. And I guarantee you it was because of what the Saban playbook was kind of left for them. Because they made him act very reserved. You know? There was a lot of reservation in the acting, and I know the actor isn't like that because I've seen him in interviews. So I'm like, oh, it feels like Saban's still like lingering poison in the well of Power Rangers. That being said, season 1 was the last one that we had to deal with on Nickelodeon, and season 2 picked up. Season 2 picked up so much better. It aired entirely on Netflix. We got half of the episodes right away. Then we took a couple months break and we got the other half of the episodes immediately. It was much better storytelling. The writing looked like it was better. The acting felt like it was a little bit better. The scenes felt better. The stock footage usage felt better. And it wasn't like, it didn't go from okay to amazing, but you could feel the difference. You could feel the difference between all of this. You know? What I missed? Line, you missed everything. We're literally on the last season. We're talking about Dino Fury Season 2. We're literally talking about Dino Fury Season 2. Come on. What are you doing? So, I think Dino Fury Season 2 was a giant step back in the right direction, especially coming from Hasbro, and especially to capturing things that make Power Rangers as a franchise so fun. The lead up into the finale, I think, was fantastic. I think the relationship between the Rangers and the Morphin Masters was a lot better explored. I loved what they ended up doing with Lord Zed, and they kind of had to cheat to like win against him because Zed is busted in Power Rangers canon. And the only reason they beat him the first time was because Zordon died, which again, they cheated to beat Zed. So Zed coming back, I bet Zed's gonna break out. I bet Zed is going to break out of the prison that he's in at the end of Dino Fury Season 2 and be the villain for Cosmic Fury. Zed literally blew up a planet. Zed literally blew up a planet in Season 2 of Dino Fury. He blew up a planet. You don't mess with Zed. Shit was crazy. For both the seasons, one thing I didn't get behind Dino Fury Ryu Soldier is the Zords and how they just click together Lego style. I think that was intentional so they can make them stack on each other better. Haven't looked much into behind the scenes with Hasbro in full control. Like I said, Simon Bennett has talked about how much better the show has gotten now. I think you can watch season 1 of Dino Fury and then watch season 2 and feel the difference for yourself. Like, it feels different. And Simon Bennett has specifically talked about the restrictions that Saban had placed on them as they were taking the helm of Power Rangers. And especially, Simon Bennett talked about wanting to go back and redo Beast Morphers because of all of the restrictions they had placed on them, you know? So it's, the behind the scenes are kind of crazy. Honestly, I hope we don't get a Power Ranger version of Lupat, but that's my opinion. We can't. So Simon Bennett did actively come out and discuss seasons that they were considering adapting from Super Sentai, because for like the past 4 or 5 years, we've been talking about how the relationship between Toei and Hasbro is done. When Hasbro took on Power Rangers as a brand, they said, no, we're not doing Super Sentai anymore. Simon Bennett has said that this is a rumor and not confirmed this. So now I'm not sure, because we have confirmation that the next season that we're getting adapted in Cosmic Fury is Q Ranger, which is the space themed one with the constellations, and it had like 13 Rangers at the end of it or something like that, 12 maybe. But the big thing is that they're doing completely original suits for Cosmic Fury. So they're not doing the Q Ranger suits. They are doing the Q Ranger mecha though. Was Zed Return a rebirth or a clone? Kind of rebirth. Kind of rebirth. But yeah, so Simon Bennett was talking about seasons that they like couldn't adapt. And Lupat came up and he was like, I can't in good faith make a show about cop Power Rangers in America right now. Like, no shot. He was very point blank. He's like, I'm not doing it. And then people talked about Q Ranger and he was like, we probably won't do Q Ranger because there's too many Rangers. And I think that was it. I think that was like all he said. And now we're getting Q Ranger technically adapted in mecha footage. Yeah, because of the constellations. Every Ranger was based on a different constellation. So that was cool. Zed was so powerful. He was the first villain to have their own sword. Yeah, Serpentera. I was talking about that before. It was something that I thought was actually well handled. He showed up in season 1 of Dino Fury, and he got tricked into like being quote unquote defeated, but not really. It was, so Ollie was the only Ranger like not captured, and Zed had like an inhibitor collar that made him listen to somebody else, and he ended up destroying the inhibitor collar. And Zed was Ollie was like, hey, listen, like, I know you and I are enemies right now, but like they enslaved you and made you do their bidding. Go beat their ass. And Zed was like, you know what? You right. I'm gonna go beat their ass. And he went and beat their ass and then left. He was like, listen, I beat their ass. Goodbye. I'll be back later. And then Zed came back and blew up a planet. Bring back Serpentera if it's salvageable. It shouldn't be. It was destroyed in Wild Force, as far as we know, during Forever Red. So, all these titles on this list, man, I'm nerding out. I mean, it's just, listen, I love Power Rangers. This is firmly where I believe I think the franchise is gone. Honestly, I would probably do this. I would probably put Dino Fury up a little bit more. Season 2. I enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed the finale for Dino Fury Season 2. It felt like it answered a lot of questions. There was a lot of good stuff, you know? Zed sounds like an absolute Giga Chad. Literally the only way they've ever been able to beat Zed Lion was by cheating. They've cheated twice to defeat him. Oh my goodness. But here we go. Let's do a little outro. And there you have it. There's my list of the Power Rangers franchise. Absolutely 100% accurate. Let me scoot over to the side that way you can see it. In amazing tier, we've got Power Rangers Time Force, Dino Thunder, RPM, In Space. I firmly believe that Time Force and Dino Thunder can be interchanged. RPM and In Space can be interchanged as well. In the great tier, we've got Ninja Storm, Jungle Fury, Lost Galaxy, Dino Fury Season 2, and SPD. I think Dino Fury Season 2 is a clear standout here, considering how much it improved over the first season. At good tier, we've got Dino Charge, Beast Morphers Season 1 and 2, Zeo, Wild Force, MMPR Season 3, and Lightspeed Rescue. I don't know if there's a clear standout here, but I'm glad that Beast Morphers was at least enjoyable. For the OK tier, we've got Dino Fury Season 1, Mystic Force, Turbo, MMPR Season 1, and Dino Supercharge. I think Dino Supercharge is always worth mentioning because it felt like they dropped a lot of the balls that Dino Charge started juggling. Yeah, stop dropping balls. In the meta tier, we've got Samurai, MMPR Season 2, Super Samurai, Ninja Steel, and Megaforce. Probably most notable here is that I don't think Megaforce initially was as bad as we all gave it credit for, or a bad rap for. I think it could have improved as it went on, and had they had the proper writing, direction, things of that nature, I think the Ghost Sager adaptation could have been fun, but they fumbled it. However, then in bad tier, we've got Operation Overdrive, Super Megaforce, and Super Ninja Steel. The standouts being, of course, Super Megaforce and Super Ninja Steel. While many think that Super Megaforce is the clear-cut, terrible, worst season, I tend to think Super Ninja Steel was. I think Super Ninja Steel specifically had a lot of opportunities to fix and adjust issues that were going on in the Power Rangers universe, and have a fun time with it. And instead it felt like they got lazy, they followed a playbook that was outdated, and it just wasn't fun, aside from Dimensions in Danger. Okay, cool. I think that's pretty much it. Can't wait for the Roy Sentai list. I've only watched 11 seasons of Sentai, you know? The first stream of yours I watched to the end. This is great, I had fun. Hey, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Thank you guys for being here. This is a blast to do. I should probably save this. I'm gonna save it. Download the image. All right, cool. It's been downloaded. So long as I have it, I can show it later. You know? I can show it later. I very much wanted to create a 2022 tier list because 2023 starts in a couple days. I think it's important, at least for me, as someone who loves and appreciates Power Rangers in this capacity, to see where the franchise has come from and where it is going. Next year, we're not getting one, we're getting 2 different series of Power Rangers. Specifically, in April, we're getting the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers with a lot of the original cast. It's not going to be super long. I think it's going to be like an hour-long kind of like mini movie type thing. But I know David Yost as Billy is going to be there, Steve Cardenas as Rocky, Karen Ashley as Aisha, Johnny Young Bosch as Adam, Walter Jones as Zach, and Catherine Sutherland as Kat are all coming back, which is super dope. I'm really excited for that. And it's coming right to Netflix. We don't have to worry about no Nickelodeon nonsense getting in the way, you know? Time to go binge Gokaiger. If only I had the time. Next time, tier list for Power Rangers villains and monsters. I'm sure I could make my own, you know? I'm sure I could make my own. Oh, indeed. Oh, indeed. And then I think they said it was October or November. We're going to be getting Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, which is going to be a direct follow-up from the finale of Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 2. It sets up into it, and they are chasing an evil into space. I feel... Oh, I think they did actually confirm Zed escaped. I think Zed actually confirmed escaped at the end of Season 2. Because Zed's busted. You can't keep a good Zed down. I think they confirmed that. I think that's what it was. And I think they confirmed that Cosmic Fury is going to be 10 episodes, but each episode is going to be 45 minutes long, which is kind of crazy to think about, but I'm down for it. Plus, completely 100% original suits. Whoa. These suits look dope too. Have you guys seen these suits yet? Have you guys seen these suits? Let me pull these up. Let me show you these suits. All right, here's one of them. That's one of them. I think they look sick. They're like evolutions of the Dino Fury suits. I think it looks sick. And they have signature weapons again. I think it looks great. I love the shield. I love that the Power Ranger symbol's there on the belt. I love the aesthetic, the motif. Oh, he buff? Oh, he buff. He buff. Zed strikes back with a vengeance. And then there was green and gold as well. And these look sick as well. Again, signature weapons. Arm cannon. We got daggers. We got some sort of wrist-mounted laser. Unless that's on him, too. It's not. We got some sort of wrist-mounted laser. Same motif. These look sick. I love the aesthetic for these. I love the direction that they're taking. These are 100% original. Completely original. And I think that's super cool because they're taking like the helmet, and I think that's it. You know? Kind of reminds me of the Super Dino Thunder mode. Oh, with how they kind of like evolved or like went into new powers, you know? Space Dinosaur Knights. Yeah, because we don't know. Because the cool thing was at the end of, there it is. At the end of Dino Fury Season 2, the Red Ranger comes back looking like this. So we think when they did this, that this was a prototype. That they weren't completely ready to show off the new designs yet. But if you look, you can see the shoulder pads are still there. And that gold segment piece, you know? Well, these are just concept arts, Repro. I don't think these are actually what the suits look like. But I agree. I think adding some blue splashes in there would be good. Or black to go with the gloves. He looks like off-brand Superman. I think he looks like Shishi Orion. Is it gonna give me the thing I want? No, don't dox me. Shishi Red Orion from Q Ranger. Oh my god, why is it so tiny? There we go, good enough. I think it looks very similar to that. You know? I feel like that's what they were kind of going for. With the white, you know? The white be looking clean. I think inspired by. Yeah, Shishi Red Orion. Power Rangers all female character tier list would be divided between which good and bad girls are cuter. I don't know about that one, Chief. I don't usually think about Power Rangers in that capacity. Usually because a lot of the characters in those shows are like teenagers and like, sheesh, you know what I mean? Can't just be going out and saying that stuff like that. I think it's just the color palette. I just say inspired by. That's all I say. I say inspired by. I think because they're adapting this season. This is the season they're adapting next. I think they were inspired, you know? But yeah, that's it. There was my entire Power Rangers tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. All right, let me go ahead and turn that off. Close out of everything. Come back to the center and we'll head back to the cafe. Where's the cafe? Cafe! Yay! My brain hurts now, does it? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I'm so happy we finally get OG suits for Power Rangers. I know, it's been so long. Literally, we haven't had it since Titanium. The Titanium Ranger was the last time we got it. Technically, SPD Orange, if you want to count it, but they only had to do it once. Hey, Sad Bunny! How are you? Welcome in. You're catching us just at the end of the stream. Guys, I want to say thank you to everybody that showed up today. I really do appreciate it. I actually do have good news as well. I wanted to wait until the end of the stream to bring it up specifically. And I know a lot of you have been sticking with me and supporting, especially because we have been so close to reaching monetization for YouTube. I'm happy to say we got it. Before stream today started, we hit monetization. So I have now officially applied for monetization on YouTube. We did it, gamers. We made it for before New Year's. We did it. So, with that being said, it means that we hit 4,000 public watch hours of my content on YouTube in the past year, which is insane to think about. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It means that I'll be able to monetize the content that you guys watch here with better advertising that YouTube usually puts out anyway, and I'll be able to get a cut of that, especially next year when shorts get monetized. That is a huge deal because I put out those shorts pretty regularly, you know what I mean? So it will also mean that I can pay my editors more regularly in terms of putting out more content. I can just do more content in general and maybe buy more equipment, more games and things like that to put on a better show for all of you. So we're going to be bringing in 2023 with amazing news. We hit monetization. I'm doing a panel at MagFest, which I'll be again talking about more in detail as soon as that art piece is done. And we're going to be popping off. We've got so many amazing things planned for 2023. And a lot of it is because of you guys. Thank you so much for supporting me this year. Thank you so much for everything. I will say this coming Saturday, This Saturday is going to be my last stream on Twitch of the year planned right now. Something might come up that I have to cancel it, and if I do, then I'll do like a Twitter post to kind of talk about it. But if the Saturday stream does happen, I'm going to be talking about the goals that I had for 2022, how I did, and the goals that I'm going to come up for 2023. They're mostly going to be numbers based and talking about the content and direction that I'm going into, but I hope you guys are looking forward to that. And thank you for supporting me throughout all of this year and supporting me through the last YouTube stream of the year. After this coming Saturday, I'm going to be taking a 1-week break. So Saturday will be my last stream for a entire week because I'm going to be at MagFest. I'm going to be, doing the panel and everything like that. So I hope you guys look forward to that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making this year amazing. And I see you guys on Saturday. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.